All right, so here we go. Here we go. Let me share the links first. Nnamdi Kanu declared fit for trial. That's the subject matter of the conversation. If you're interested, come join. The leader of the Igbo takes, Nnamdi Kanu, he has been declared fit for trial. So that's the subject matter of this particular conversation. So let me share the link just as widely as I can. Get as many people in here as I possibly can. So now, a lot of controversy always around that Nnamdi Kanu narrative. But who exactly is this Nnamdi Kanu, and what is all of the force? So this guy, he's been agitating for this Biafran space for long enough, and that was okay. He can agitate all he likes. He can say whatever it is that he likes. So for a very long time, actually, Nnamdi Kanu started his life as an estate agent in the UK. He was just selling upstairs, downstairs. That was his life in the UK before it suddenly happened on this Biafran narrative, and he discovered that there was money in there. It was actually Ralph Nwabuzike, or however you pronounce it. Ralph, what's the name of that Ralph again? Ralph something or the other. That was the person that actually introduced Nnamdi Kanu to agitation, and then since then, of course, he has developed into something entirely different. So who is this Nnamdi Kanu? So as I said, it was just a noisemaker, just making noise on some random pirate radio somewhere in the UK. That was the totality of his storyline. But he then suddenly pivoted into becoming more militant with that agitation, and that was when the story turned against him. So we all know the backdrop of the story of this guy, of course, asking that his followership tried to secede from the Nigerian state forcefully. So he asked for his followership to try to secede from the Nigerian state forcefully, and to that end, they started to militarize, buying weapons, recruiting a bunch of unfortunate Chinedus, and then sending them all over the place. So that's Nnamdi Kanu. So that's the build up to it, and we all know his atrocities during the NSA space as well. So should Nnamdi Kanu be on trial? It certainly should be. And also, actually, let's take it from the beginning. So he started with that satellite radio, pirate radio, something, just agitating towards his people, which was fine. And then they started to militarize that space. It started to become a lot more aggressive in its tonality, and then they started to weaponize, to the point that they were arrested by the Nigerian state, and then they were subsequently released. By day, I mean Nnamdi Kanu, he was arrested by the Nigerian state, and then he was subsequently released. But then when they released him, we're talking about 2014 now, when they released Nnamdi Kanu, there were certain conditionalities attached to that release. And so one of the main conditionalities is that he must not be in a gathering of more than 20 people. So they granted him bail in 2015 and then released him to custody in Umuahia, which was his own home state. And as soon as he got to Umuahia, he started having these very big rallies, continuing to agitate in the tonality that he was agitating. So now, of course, the authorities could not allow that. So the authorities then set about to arrest him, which was the Python dance, of course, the infamous Python dance. So the authorities then set about to arrest him. And in the course of that arrest, he managed to escape, his building, and then subsequently the country, and then he landed up somewhere. Was it in the Middle East? Anyway, he managed to escape the country and found his way back to the UK. And from the UK, he became even more militant in his tonality. So the tonality became a lot more aggressive, and he was agitating for his people to become more militarized, they started to weaponize, and then subsequently he formed a paramilitary organization which he termed the Eastern Security Network, and with that Eastern Security Network, he started to weaponize them. We all saw all the weapons. As they were buying the weapons, they were advertising it. Do you remember they used to wear this? Let me see if I can actually find it online. Do you remember they used to wear this ridiculous ESN training? Let's just training. Do you remember they used to wear this ridiculous black outfit and then wear some ridiculous beret as well, some beret? So this was the paramilitary organization that Nnamdi Kanu formed. So this was the Eastern Security Network there. You can see they are heavily armed. And you can see, so this is the Eastern Security Network right there. So it's a paramilitary organization that this guy forms. You can see quite clearly there. They are carrying all manners of weaponry. So he did that. So he weaponized these people. And then subsequently, we had the NSTARS, was that 2020? And in the course of that NSARS, this guy set his people about destroying. He didn't even ask them to go to their own land to go and destroy it. Or, if Nnamdi Kanu had stayed in Igbo land and he set the if Nnamdi Kanu had stayed in Igbo land and he set the Southeasterners to destroy Igbo land, nobody would not have heard a single thing. But of course, he sent them to Lagos and he instructed them then to set about the destruction of Lagos. If your memory doesn't go that far back, let me remind you again.
And I want Lagos airport to be on flames. This perimeter fence, go and burn down Lagos. Anybody, if you have double barrel, if you have pistol, anything you have, give it to them, let them go and kill them, penetrate the airport and set Motam Mohammed Airport on fire. Set it ablaze right now. Then the world will listen. You are dealing with animals. Fulani Janjaweed, they are animals. They do not reason. They do not reason. You don't know them. You don't know them. And are they not killing people? The caller on the line, can you hear me? Yes, please. Good evening to you. Yes, go ahead.
Well, my name is Igbo, calling from Lagos.
What is happening where you are?
We was at Oshoda Papa Expressway. There was shooting us there. It's 5 people that they killed this evening.
How many policemen died? I don't want to hear they kill us, they kill us. How many did you kill? How many police or army did you kill? How many?
They have burned the Lassa police station. They have burned it down. They burned the Select police station. They burned the Orile police station down. Everything is down now as I'm speaking.
Thank you very much. That is, if you go to my page, you will see a flag there. Nigerian flag stained with blood. So the flag that people should be carrying should no longer be green, white, green, but green, white, and red.
So you heard it right there. So that was Nnamdi Kanu then. So he went from just a random satellite voice on some pirate radio, just riling his people up, to militarizing them. We saw the ESN formation as they were going through their routine, heavily armed, and then in the course of that NSARS, he instructed then his people to set about Lagos. And by the way, people can come in if you want the conversation. Come in. Let me just let me if you want the conversation come in, we're talking about Nnamdi Kanu, who I feel should get the capital punishment. All right. So yes, if you want to come in, come in. So now, you all heard it. It then set about requesting the destruction of Lagos State, and he was doing that all the way from London. So subsequently, this guy ended up somewhere in the UK, and then it was still in the UK actually. But in the course of being in the UK, he traveled to Kenya, where he was captured. So this is where the story starts to go wrong. So I feel that Buhari made a grave mistake arresting, capturing, and then renditioning Nnamdi Kanu back to Nigeria. I think Buhari made a grave mistake there. what Buhari should have done, he should have brought Nnamdi Kanu back in a box, you know, in the horizontal position. So they should have piled him in Kenya and then just brought him back in a box. So that's what they should have done. But nevertheless, they did bring him back, and he's now having to face the charges of all of these felonious atrocities that he has committed. So that's where the situation stands now. So now he has been in the custody of the government for going on 4 or 5 years. Pardon me. And they say justice delayed is justice denied. So justice delayed is justice denied. So now, why has Nnamdi Kanu been in the government custody for 4 or 5 years? When the case first started, his lawyers filed for a no case trial, a no case submission, which went for a few months until they said he had a case to answer. So that was one. And then, and by the way, let's just address one thing. A lot of his supporters, I don't want to say a lot of the Southeasterners, but a lot of his supporters, they go around saying that the court released Nnamdi Kanu, but the government refused to set him free. So that's not true. And I think a lot of you know that that is not true. The court did not release Nnamdi Kanu. The appeal court released Nnamdi Kanu. The government appealed that judgment to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court then sent him back. Rather, the Supreme Court sent him back to go and stand trial, which is to tell you that he has a case to answer. So that doesn't release him. So the abiding ruling in terms of Nnamdi Kanu being in custody or not is from the Supreme Court, who insists that he has to stand trial. The Supreme Court judgment criticized the way he was renditioned, so that was a slap on the wrist to the government, but nevertheless, the Supreme Court said he has to stand trial. So that's that. So now the trial now ongoing. So the first thing his lawyers did was to file a no-case submission, which went on for a few months, but the court refused to buy into that. So that was one. And then the second thing that they then did, which lasted for about 2-3 years, was that they started to fight the sitting judge on the case. Do you remember Justice Binta Nyako? So they started to fight her, and that dragged on for months and months until eventually the system acceded to their request. I think it was actually Justice Binta Nyako who actually recused herself. So until that woman eventually recused herself, and then they said they replaced her with James Omotosho. So now they are now with James Omotosho, and they're still doing the stalling tactics because they've reapplied that no case to answer sort of submission, which has subsequently again been dismissed. So now they've now introduced his state of health is very unwell and all of these things. So they use that still delayed the trial still, because they were insisting he needed medical attention, and the justice then, he contacted the Nigerian Medical Association, and the president of the Nigerian Medical Association sent a team of lawyers to go and assess Nnamdi Kanu. So the lawyers have been to assess Nnamdi Kanu, and what did they come back with? Sorry, I had it lined up. So the lawyers went to assess Nnamdi Kanu, and what did they come back with? Let me just let me quickly play you something. If anybody wants to come in, come in. If you want the conversation, you can come in. So as I said, the lawyers went to assess Nnamdi Kanu. The doctors rather went to assess Nnamdi Kanu, and this was what they came back with.
Push the government to try to regulate
the social media,
and the way even the press behaves and misbehaves in our country. Because this is just not right. Today, if you read the story, you start asking yourself, can this story be believed? You start checking other sources. It had never been this bad in our country. Yet some people see nothing wrong about it.
Which is sad.
What if it's their own people they like, that have committed an infraction? They will never complain about it.
Okay. I mean, Dotson, in a related development, we just heard that the Nigerian Medical Association, the NMA, says that Nnamdi Kanu is now fit to stand trial. Your reaction on this?
Not that he's now fit. What the NMA simply told us is with the check we've conducted says there is nothing wrong with him not to stand trial.
Yes.
Not that it's just now fit.
It's well enough.
It's well enough
enough to stand trial.
That's what they're saying to us. And when the
Well, if you say
NMA
it's
was
now
brought
fit,
it means he
you are
has been
assuming that
ill.
all along he had not been fit.
Yes.
So that's quite interesting. So the Nigerian Medical Association tells us that he is fit to stand trial. So they are not saying he's now well enough. What they are actually telling us is that even the claim that he had some medical ailment that was preventing him to stand trial, that in itself is a lie. But then, of course, the whole of the Kanu space is entirely just one tissue of lie after the other. So if anybody wants to come in, Dr. Frem
Dr.
Fremko.
Frank Copper.
All right.
Frank Copper.
Sorry, how do you pronounce
Yeah.
that?
Framed Copper. It's a
Frem
German
Copper.
word.
Yeah. Oh,
Framed Copper.
V-Gets and all that. That's all I know in German. V-Gets.
Yeah, mir geht's gut, yeah? Bei dir?
Yeah, danke. So
Yeah,
this is
sehr
not the
schön.
kind of matter now. So there's a section of the community agitating for its release, which is essentially people from his own region, not just the entirety of that region, but people that lean towards his narrative. But the majority
Yes.
of Nigerians, as far as I'm aware, they want this guy to stand trial, and even they want him to get the capital punishment. But how are you positioned on this never-ending saga that is Nnamdi Kanu?
Absolutely. You know, I've listened, I have followed your submission with the little intro you gave into the whole issue. And I'm also of the position that Nnamdi Kanu should face the full wrath of the law for all these, stupidities, he has cheerleaded, in our country. Nnamdi Kanu is nothing but a terror merchant. He doesn't deserve to live in the community of people with common sense. That means he should remain in prison till his trial time is over. And at the end of the day, I expect that justice, will be properly served, to serve as a succor to people who have witnessed firsthand, the terror he unleashed in the Southeast. We are watching. I'm aware that on 28th of October, there's a rally being planned, to demand his release. I feel this rally is ill-timed. I feel it is the people behind don't have not thought it through, to know that it's unneeded, it's uncalled for, calling for the release of a criminal, to be back into the society of normal human beings. Nnamdi Kanu is not about a criminal, he's a terror merchant, and he deserves to be in jail till we have a decision on his case. Unfortunately, he's been trying to to delay justice by putting up lots of delay tactics, here and there. Today it is about his health. Tomorrow it's about the legality of the court to try him in Nigeria, among all other nonsense, that he's been pushing out. Yeah, I believe at the end of the day, he's going to have his time in court because the justice and the judge told him to prepare his defense, and I think he's scared of the defense because he knows the weight of the atrocity he has committed in Nigeria, in Lagos, in Lagos, for example, and also in the southeast. So he's running away from judgment. He's running away from trial, and he's going to have his day in court. I don't care if 1 million or the 100 million people rally for him for his release. He's not going to be released because it's going to be a slap on our faces. If he's released, a criminal of that a criminal of that magnitude doesn't deserve to be living freely in the community of people. So he should be remanded in jail till he faces his trial. And I am of the opinion, and I strongly believe that is going to be convicted of all the crimes he has committed, and is going to be given a very heavy punishment for his crime. That is what I expect from the Nigerian state, and we are all watching.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Just on the protest going on, I call it a riot because often the instances when the Ashore organizes these things, it always degenerates into anarchy. The court has actually barred it. So there's been a last minute injunction barring it. It says, this is from the Vanguard. It says, free Nnamdi Kanu now. Court bars Shore, others from protesting around Aso Rock Villa and other places. So it looks as though there's a court injunction now restraining them somewhat. But if we know Shore for anything, is no abider of the law, so he will still roll out. And of course, they will meet some nice little. Well, hopefully they don't be AK-47. But that's that. Let's bring Think again into the conversation. Stay with us, Doctor. The German doctor, and let me call you that. Yeah. So stay with us, because there's still other aspects to this as well, actually. But let's hear from Think Again first. Think Again.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, man. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. Well, Nnamdi Kanu, as far as I'm concerned, is the only Nigerian who is charged with both treason and terrorism. The only Nigerian. So in essence, he's the number one criminal because there's nothing worse than treason and terrorism. These are the two worst crimes. And so if he is set free, I don't know what precedent we want to set. What is he going to be set free based on? If he went through trial and the judges found the evidence inconclusive, or they decided to free him based on technical grounds or whatever, it's a different matter. But for people to put pressure on the government, to take a political decision, I pray that the government doesn't cave in, because if the government does that, it's setting a very bad precedence. And the consequences are worse than the benefits by far. That's what I can say in a nutshell.
Yeah, yes, I think again, there's you are talking about technicalities, but they're asking. So, Chowore is actually going to march on Aso Rock for Tinubu to release him, but Tinubu cannot grant this guy a pardon until a judgment is in place.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no judgment in place, so it doesn't even get to Tinubu's space yet, because first there has to be a judgment and then clemency then comes in. So that's the first thing. He has to stand that trial first. Before
procedure says that first of all there has to be a judgment before there can be any pardon, and there isn't a judgment. So the trial has to be concluded, and the judgment be passed before any kind of clemency can even come to effect. And I hope even if that happens, I don't know what effect. I think it's going to have a very bad effect on the polity, honestly.
Do you think the conviction of Simon Ekpa puts even more pressure? It limits and, if not nullifies, any possibility of releasing Nnamdi Kanu? That's one. And then also, because Nnamdi Kanu's crimes are a lot more egregious than Simon Ekpa, you expect even greater punishment on Simon Ekpa. And then if Nnamdi Kanu is found guilty, do you think Nigerians will be too extreme to insist on the capital punishment?
No, it's not. Don't be too extreme, because that's actually what this kind of crimes attract. And you're right, Simon Ekpa is you can't even compare his own crimes. He was charged with a totally different set of crimes, which are not comparable to even the crimes that Nnamdi Kanu was charged. So yes, the crimes of Nnamdi Kanu attract the highest punishment.
So we're talking about the highest punishment. Do you think it was somewhat of a misstep by the Buhari space not to have finished the job in Kenya and just brought this guy back in a body bag? Do you think they should have just sorted him out in Kenya and brought him back in a body bag?
Well, when we're talking strictly based on rule of law, I can't say that. But if we are talking of what Nigeria will be, saved from, the advantage is obviously clear.
And this narrative about the length of time because look at Simon Ekpa now, is capture, try, and jail all within the space of certainly 12 months. But this guy has been in custody now the better part of 4-5 years. And one of the narratives, because of course the idiom, justice delayed is justice denied. One of the narratives is that they are holding this guy in custody in perpetuity and is not being stood trial. So if he's been held that long and he cannot be presented for a verdict, then he should be released. So that's the narrative that Ashowore is pushing for Monday. Do you align somewhat with that thought?
Absolutely not. Then the solution is to try him. If they're going to put pressure, the pressure they should put is that he go to trial. Because obviously, yes, it has been protected because of pressure. Many judges have been resigning, and many judges are afraid of passing a judgment. And politics has entered into the judicial process. And what the pressure they're supposed to put and what they're supposed to ask for is that he goes to trial and that the judgment process is speed up.
What are you making of his lawyers trying to ethnicize this narrative? As early as yesterday, his lawyer came out and said it was even the entire ethnic stock that is on trial. Do you think that is language? Because it's a senior lawyer as well. It's not some fresh off the law school lawyer. So do you think that is language conducive to that sort of this sort of high octane, high profile, very sensitive trial? Do you think that language is suited? And do you think the Nigerian Bar Association should take a position against this guy?
I think that lawyer should be sanctioned because he has broken many principles of law. Because the law is no respecter of any ethnicity, and the crimes are obviously, outstanding.
So now the Showore space. So Showore now, as ever, a luta continua. I think that is the language of his own politics. Just direct action, take to the streets, whatever. So what do you think Showore's intentions are on Monday then? So, I mean, he's saying free Nnamdi Kanu. Everybody knows Nnamdi Kanu is not going to be freed. So there's a school of thought. There's a narrative that is suggesting that this is somewhat of a cynical exploitation of the Nnamdi Kanu situation for its own political gain, that is trying to use that leverage to cut into the Peter Obi space. Do you align with that? Do you, because of course it fought many other fights also, we cannot say that, we cannot question his altruism, but is there somewhat cynicism in this particular narrative, this push for Nnamdi Kanu, just to cut into the southeastern space and take a slice of Peter Obi? Do you think it's that cynical, your friend Showore?
I think somebody said that it's a deliberate action, not intended to free Nnamdi Kanu, but intended to take the initiative out of the hands of other people. That's what somebody said. It might be true. I don't know his true intentions, but he should be aware enough and informed enough to know the gravity and the nature of the offense and the implication of this kind of offense on the polity. To know that kind of action, if it will lead to the release of this man, is going to have a very negative long-term effect on the polity.
So now Peter Obi came out to he endorsed the you don't really expect him to take a direct participation, but Peter Obi actually came out to endorse the narrative and is questioning still why Nnamdi Kanu is held in custody. Do you think that is a misstep? Because Peter Obi is getting increasingly ethnicized in his politics. We also saw him in Lagos State fighting Sanwo-Olu because he demolished some buildings. Now, so I mean, by signaling that Nnamdi Kanu is held unfairly, is that not signaling then that if he becomes president, he is just going to release him? Do you think the pressure is making Peter Obi make missteps?
Yes, I think that's bad mathematics because he's thinking of winning the vote of the Igbos, but in the process he's losing the vote of the a large part of Nigerians. And the votes he's losing may be more than the ones he'll gain. But I'm not surprised that he will be responding to the pressure from his sponsors and his main constituency to do this. But if he resists, it will be better for him.
Oh,
If
oh,
he had
oh,
resisted.
all right, Bilan, stay with us. Stay with us. Think again.
Okay.
So let's bring Blessed Dom into the conversation. Good to have you here. We're discussing the Nnamdi Kanu narrative. The Nigerian Medical Association, a team sent by Justice Omotosho, assessed his physical well-being, and they said he's fit enough to stand trial, which is to suggest that he never really even suffered any real ailment. So what are you making of this Nnamdi Kanu narrative? Being in custody for 5 years, the case continued to be delayed. His people are pressuring that he's been held in custody for too long, but a lot of that delay is actually of Nnamdi Kanu doing. So what are you making of the Nnamdi Kanu narrative that seems to be a never-ending saga?
Yeah, the thing is, you said it all now. They are playing games, so they don't want him to stand in that box and defend himself, but he can't escape it. No, I think they've given them a window of 23rd to 30th to open and close their defense. So I don't know what the decision from the court is going to be after the 30th, but now they have that window. I hope they use it. And what they have done is just a kind of legal jamboree so far. And when I listen to the lawyer say, "Oh, look at what he's doing because he's an Igbo man," that's bullshit. Everybody knows that, except the people who they have hoodwinked with their lies. But um he's standing trial and he boasted severally that they can't try him. He's going to defeat them in their court. They don't even understand their own laws. I mean, like his feet, he was even giving order in court the last time that he should do fundraising. He gave an order. Like, if he can give an order for fundraising, I mean, I think he's fit to stand trial, and it's all in his court. They should just get on with it. Me, I'm very interested and keen to hear his defense.
Yeah, I was just saying to think again that with the conviction of Simon Ekpa, it makes it almost impossible for Nnamdi Kanu not to get some sort of conviction, because if they can find sufficient enough to convict Ekpa in Finland and sentence him sufficiently, and Nnamdi Kanu's crimes a lot more, then do you not think that the conviction of Simon Ekpa, it puts pressure both on the speedy trial of Nnamdi Kanu and subsequently that he should get a conviction?
Yes, of course, and especially because Ekpa is actually like his foot soldier. So his actions or his incitement of everything he has been convicted of is just like not up to what Kanu have done. So I think it's a very, very good precedent for the Nigerian government, even for them to even use it to give clarification that, especially because they are being accused of being biased and partial. I mean, I think that's a very solid precedent for them to use. Yeah.
And the space, a cynical exploitation of the Nnamdi Kanu space for political clout. That is what some people are suggesting. Do you agree?
I don't even really know what is going on, because today I even heard in the news that there has been a coup.
Oh no,
So
that
that
there was an attempted coup, is what they suggested.
yeah, they said people are actually arrested and they are in custody. So
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
big deal.
16 officers.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, so it means so many things was going on in the shadows, and it was supposed to culminate with these protests and going to Asa Rock, reminiscing what happened in Nepal, because if they get in there and get rowdy, so maybe Tinubu would have to be evacuated with an aircraft. I don't know. Like, I think the whole thing is still building up. We really need to wait and see what happened and what is going on. So I don't know. It came so suddenly and very strongly, and I was thinking, okay, it's almost like a drowning man using something to hold on to. And these people, they are so desperate and gullible at the same time, very easy to use them as a stepping stool to whatever end goal. But of course, I don't see it as coming from a place of love. I
There's
don't.
actually a court injunction came out today barring Showore from protesting around Aso Rock Villa. But then, of course, knowing Showore, he will want to carry on anyway. So are we looking at another sort of yeah, well, you know how the Nigerian authorities usually respond to things like that. So what are you anticipating for Monday? The court said don't.
Honestly, I've not really said anything about that because I've just only posted the news that the protest has gotten, like the court, the police or law enforcement have gotten a court order prohibiting the protest. So if the people are going to, a lot of people were commenting and saying it's fake news. And honestly, there are varying news also, like here and there, depending on where you look. So I think we'll just have to wait and see what happens on Monday. If they are very adamant and they want to go for it, and I don't know, like I think with this coup coming up today, is telling. I feel like there are so many things going on in the shadows that we don't even know. That's
You
almost
know,
like
the
Kano is
military have come to
resting.
deny that coup, but then of course, they are saying the officers were arrested for disciplinary matters. But they are also, what's actually coming out is that you know that some of the Independence Day celebration something was cancelled, and they were saying that was entirely because of that attempted coup, that they were going to strike at Tinubu during that celebration, and that was what that led to the cancellation of it.
Honestly, I'm actually thinking that if I don't know, I may be wrong, but I'm thinking that maybe there is this feeling like it's like the politicians are going to give a political solution to this thing, and the military guys are not having it. I don't know, because they have a lot of casualties on as a result of the activities of the boys that Kanu incited. So I don't know, honestly. Like I'm thinking about it and I'm just wondering, like it's almost like I'm in suspense. What is gonna happen? How is it going to play out? But the only thing I know for sure is that for now we are expecting to see Kanu open his defense or not open his defense and see what the judge is going to do. I don't think there's any presidential pardon that is going to happen without him standing that trial and getting a conviction. I don't see that happening. But again, it's all futuristic at this moment.
How do you read the mood of the rest of Nigerians? Because there's a particular agitation for Nnamdi Kanu to be released, and a lot of that agitation is coming from his own people. And by those own people, I don't even mean the whole of the Southeasterners, but his followership and people that he has influence over. But what do you think the rest of Nigerians actually want in terms of Nnamdi Kanu? Do you think, how do you think Nigerians would react if they released him? Because the one thing that the government can do is that they can withdraw the case. So they can't grant him pardon, no, because he's not been convicted, but they can withdraw the case. But how do you think Nigerians would react if Nnamdi Kanu was set free?
I don't know. I think that because of all the things that's happening and has happened in Nigeria, Nigerians are generally numb to things like that. People are just subsisting because of the situation. So it may make headline and all those things, but it's not going to be the burden of an everyday person in my thinking. I feel like it's something that people in places of influence just kind of worry about because of their political alliance or political calculations. But I think for the ordinary people, it doesn't affect them directly, especially people who are not from the southeastern region. Now, if you're talking about the people whose regions have been heavily impacted because of this, of course, they are seeking for justice, right? And they are saying that they want justice for all the people on our lives in their villages, in their towns, in their communities. But if you're talking about non-Igbos, beyond the political calculations of some people who align with some people who have political influence. I think that ordinary Nigerians don't even care. Like they have their own problems. I think so.
All right, I'll come to Ebu DK. I'll come to you in a moment, but let me just ask Blessing them one more question now. If Nnamdi Kanu gets a conviction and then he gets a capital punishment, how do you think the space would respond to it? If they give him capital punishment and they carry it out swiftly, how do you think the space would respond to it?
I mean, of course there will be a lot of outrage from his people and those people who follow him, and of course it's going to be a mixed bag. It's going to be a mixed reaction, but then heaven is not going to fall.
You don't think
Can
they
I
will burn
ask
him?
Blessing my question?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Blessing, you mentioned that a lot of people in the East are agitating for justice for their family or loved ones that were died.
Yeah.
Who are they? Who they all responsible for that?
Of course, they know you have to know also that there's a lot of fear. So a lot of people are still living under this terror. So even though they are wanting this how will I put it, justice and compensation or like some kind of reparation, even if you may, but they can't even say it as it is. And that's even where the idea of unknown gunmen came in, because you couldn't just call it by its name because of the repercussions that came with that. So everybody knows what has happened. The people in the communities know who are the corporates. Like if you go to such communities now, you can't even talk about beer, talk less of to end it with fra, because like they don't want to hear anything about it. They've had enough, right? So yeah, they are calling for justice for their slain brothers and sisters. So those ones who are able to leave the communities, can afford not to live there and not be in that imminent continuous danger, are able to show their face and speak out. But for the majority, they are still undeniably still under that terror as we speak.
Yeah, who are they calling for the justice from, and against whom?
Against against the ESN and Kanu that have brought it upon them.
And these are a large number of people.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Do you have an estimate or something?
I don't know. I only know that like in this community that they took like they went house to house to take an inventory of how many people were unalive within the last 5 years, and they came up with more than 6,000, like 6,500 or something like that. I don't know the exact number, but above 6,000 people, men and women with pictures, with names, who like they know who they are from their community, from just one community. This is just
Is
from their.
that Orlu in Imo State?
Yes, yes. And then there is also Iseke, there is Lilu. They have not taken their inventory. And as a matter of fact, there's another Truth Commission that was initiated from Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, and they did some inquiry, and they have a document that states on account, I've forgotten how many number of thousands of people that were tried, and they have the documents. It's in Soludo's possession. So yeah, people know what has happened to them, and but speaking out also, still the terror is still largely there. So getting Kanu to conviction is a step forward, at least to abate that terror, and that power and that influence is they are fueling. And the military are also on ground in a lot of these communities, but there are a lot of camps that are still not affected. Like today now, some camps were busted. You understand? So it's still an ongoing offensive.
Do
So
you
are they,
think this thing could ever stop? because the genie has been let out of the box. And by the way, Ebuedike, so let's bring him into the conversation, then we open it up, just so we don't hold him.
Okay, like one last question for Blessendom in relation to this.
All right.
Are the people who are affected or furious or who would be glad if this man is convicted as a consequence of the victims of his misadventure more in number than those who are neutral or in support of him, or less in the southeast?
Honestly, I cannot give that estimation, but I just know that there's a lot of misinformation that has gone down. There's a lot of false narrative that has been embedded in the consciousness of the people. And yeah, a lot of people have also seen through the lies, right? But they are still feeling unsafe to out themselves. So that's why a lot of people are remaining anonymous. So a large number of people are remaining anonymous. Like if you look at the people who went for this protest with Igele, a lot of people among them were still masking. It's as bad as that. So we cannot be able to give this
Oh,
estimation
did the
until,
Dele go out to protest?
yes,
Oh,
yeah, on the 16th. They were in Abuja, yeah.
Lies and false narratives, you said?
Yes.
Please?
Lies.
And I said, like, example of the lies and false narratives.
Of the first narratives is like the marginalization of Igbo people and how everybody's against Igbo people and how they are hated, and how this whole the whole Nigerian state is completely set up against them. Those kind of narrative. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your answers.
all right, brilliant. And for full disclosure, I think Blessendom is from the southeast, aren't you? And I think again it's from the north. So that's across the border, sort of a conversation right there. So Ebuedike, floor is yours. We're talking about Nnamdi Kanu. Very, very, very complex situation. A lot of people want a conviction, but a lot of people also want him just to be granted some sort of pardon and release. So how are you positioned in the narrative of the man from Umar here?
All right, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Honorable Dr. Paul Oyekachi alias Ebekodike, and I'm happy of this conversation ongoing. Well, on the question you asked me, releasing Nnamdi Kanu, I believe that everybody needed peace in Nigeria, and releasing Nnamdi Kanu, I think it is the most rightful something that the president should look into, because Nnamdi Kanu is not the only one agitating for freedom. Yes. When a man says, sorry please, I'm still on the road, but just that I come across
It's all right. We can hear you.
program.
Carry on. We can hear you. Carry on. We can hear you.
So, Nigeria have been a story we heard right from the school. Yes, that we are believed to be one, people with different language. And when you are a leader of a people who has different language, mind you, there is a different understanding. When a man says, I need my freedom, and he is doing it by being outspoken that he needs his freedom. One thing is this: Nigeria is not the only place that there is a case of a freedom. There are other people who also gained freedom from other countries. When a man said, I need my freedom, what you have to look into is this: is he doing it in a wrong way, or Is he doing it? Yes, because of what he's seeing. There are some certain things I can see. I will begin to demand for my freedom. I like this lady that made the last conversation, that gave us a speech. Yes, I like her. But the only thing is that when you are ruling people who have different language and different understanding, believe me that you have to be neutral. You have to be neutral. You have to read the mind of those people that you are leading. Nigeria today is not only Igbo. Every youth of Nigeria, let me say not everybody, but let me say like 70% of Nigerian youths, everybody is agitating. If you are not agitating for the economy, you will be agitating for something else, because Nigeria is not comfortable for all of us.
Sorry, one
Everybody
man,
is suffering.
I have to leave. Thank you for the invitation.
All right. Thanks, Think again. Nice to have you here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Sorry, carry on.
You said I should carry on?
Yeah, carry on. Bring it home in about 3 minutes, in about 2 minutes, and then we'll have other voices.
Okay. All right. In a conclusion, in fact, in summary of everything, releasing Nnamdi Kanu, I think, is the right thing that the president should do, because if you don't want to release a man, at least you tell us this is his offense, this is what you do. This is what he did. Yes.
Do you
Everybody
think
will
that
say.
is what Nigerians want? Do you think Nigerians want Nnamdi Kanu released?
And my question is this: why do you think that Nigeria doesn't want Nnamdi Kanu to be released?
Because of a lot of the crimes that he committed.
Do you have any evidence towards that?
Yes, now there's an abundance of evidence.
Of the crimes he committed?
Yes.
Can you give me one, please?
Certainly, I can give you several. Let me give you one.
Okay.
I want Lagos airport to be on flames. This the perimeter fence. Go and burn down Lagos. Anybody, if you have double barrel, if you have pistol, anything you have, give it to them, let them go and kill them, penetrate the airport and set Motam Airport on fire. Set it ablaze right now. Then the world will listen. You are dealing with animals. Fulani Janja with their animals. They do not reason. They do not reason. You don't know them. You don't know them. And you know, they're not killing people. The caller on the line, can you hear me? Yes, please.
I can play you 10 of those clips or even worse. So I think everybody, the evidence is all over the place now. Is everybody knows what he did now.
Sorry, I think the first question you should ask him is if he recognizes voice, because there might be some denials that
Maybe it's AI, Abi. Maybe it's AI. Was that AI? Was that artificial intelligence?
Can I say something?
Yeah, carry on. Floor is yours.
It's like I'm watching your system, and what you played is an audio, right? It's an audio voice.
Yes.
Yeah. And you believe it's Nnamdi Kanu that has the voice, right?
Well, it sounded like him. Maybe I was suggesting maybe it's AI generated. Maybe it was artificial intelligence.
I want to ask you a question. Can I?
Yeah, carry on.
This particular voice, have it been played to Nnamdi Kanu in the court?
They have, and they will again when the trial gets in full.
What is his response in defense?
Oh, the case has not started yet, has it?
It has not started
They
yet.
asked him to open his defense, and he doesn't want to open his defense. That's where the problem is.
Okay, he doesn't want to open his defense.
Yeah, he's running from that defense. He said he's sick. He's having no case. They are just doing jamboree. They don't want to open the defense for more than 2 months now. And the judge have given them 1 week till end of October to open and close their defense.
Okay. I believe Nnamdi Kanu can defend this of his own. Then if he fails to defend it, or maybe whenever he gives his defense, anytime that he defends himself of this voice note, then whatever he says, I believe the authority should use it in judgment.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if he defends this, then let the authorities from his speech investigate properly and know the truth, like velalities behind anything that he says and behind the audio or the voice record or the voice note.
You know, he was broadcasting regularly during that period for years and years, the same tone and the same direction. And you know that there's a direct and easy link between his broadcast and atrocities. A lot in the southeast and some in the southwest, especially under the ENSA space. So I think we all know what he did now. So I'm not even sure why we are.
Who are those people that he's ordering?
His followers.
His followers. Who are his followers now?
Well, whatever it's called, the Ipobians, the independent,
BSN.
the ESN, and all of these people.
They started from BSS, Biafra Security Service. They went into volunteer. They went into Lion Squad. They went into volunteer force, and then they ended up in the ESN. It's the same group, and they were doing the same work. It was.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? All right. How many people carried out his instruction, just as he said?
How many people? Many.
Yeah.
Now. They are the one also bringing.
Wait, excuse me. If you say many, that have invaded the airports, because like he said that they should circle the airports, they should go in and do whatever.
In that voice note that I played you. In that voice note that I played you, one of his followers was reporting back that they burnt down several police stations and destroyed a lot of properties as he instructed.
Yeah, it was a live call. They were calling in just like you are calling. You are having this call. They was like, well, what is going on in your end? They say, this is we have done this. They say, I don't want to hear. How many did you kill? How many did you kill? It's there. So
I believe
he was attacked on his instructions. We heard him say it, and we heard them report back.
You can't say
the police arrested a few of them.
You can't say you heard him say it because you are not physical wherever he's saying that.
Yeah, but he said it now in voice.
Let him present his evidence and defend himself.
But let me jump in. Good evening. Please, let me jump in. Please, I greet everybody.
Sorry, is it Onyema? Let Onyema come in. Sorry if I mispronounced your name.
No problem. Good evening, my brother.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Please, a friend of mine was here. That's why I was notified. So that's why I joined the people, okay? So, my brother, there are some things you cannot defend. Do you understand? There are some things that are indefensible. When Nnamdi Kanu was making this broadcast, in fact, I listened to 90% of Nnamdi Kanu's live broadcast. Okay? So, like this one you played now, he said it, and he's afraid to take responsibility. That's why he's denying. He don't want his case to be open for them to play this thing for him and ask him, are you the one or are you not the one? So I don't know why some people are making excuses for him. So where we are now is let him open his defense and come and deny this audio, not people making excuses for him denying on his behalf. I listened to this thing live, and according to when the federal government was prosecuting him, DSS said that they opened a special desk for him where they recorded all his live broadcasts. So where we are now is let him come and enter the dock. They will play this one for him and ask you, are you the one that made this broadcast? Let him say yes or no. Let us see. That is where we are now. But I listened to this one live. It was during NSAS, even when he said that they should go and attack Oriental Hotel, and the Oriental Hotel was attacked. Even when they confirmed they have burned Orile and the Lhasa police station, it was live. I don't know why people say, and when some people come and say it's AI, it's BI, it pissed me off. There are some things I cannot deny. Okay, the thing happened in our present life. Myself, I listened to it live, not after. So I don't know why some people. The only option left for this guy, let him be remorse. Let him show remorse to the government and see how they will give him small sentence.
Sorry, Onyema, do you think they should broadcast his trial live so that everybody can see the justice?
Listen, federal government have been transparent on this trial. I think that's the only thing they will do. Another fair thing they will do to him. Let them make it live for his word to see how transparent the government had been for his trial. Because when some uninformed people will come, they tell you, government doesn't have evidence to prosecute him. That's why Nnamdi Kanu is the one stalling this trial till this moment. You understand me? He's the one. They will tell you that the appeal court discharged him. There's three courts. There's court of first instance and second and Supreme Court. Supreme Court, which is the highest court of the land, have said that guy, you have case to answer. Go and answer your case. Some of his members lying to appeal court. The appeal court discharged and acquitted him. How? Okay, federal government won at the first court. He won at the middle one. Federal government won at the Supreme Court, which is go back and face your trial, which is where we are now. So I don't know why people are making case for this guy. I don't like it. That just bringing shame to we Igbos. It pissed me off. Okay.
What are you making of the Showore angle, Yema? This protest coming up on Monday?
It's a content creator. Showore want to set some of our leaders up. Okay. Already he have achieved what he want to achieve because as it is now, Showore specifically is calling some of our governors and some political leaders out. Okay, as it is now, people like Peter Obi, if they attend that protest, it's a problem for him. If he doesn't attend, it's a problem to him also. Do you understand what I'm saying now? Because if Peter Obi goes to the protest, which I know that he will not go, it will be against federal government. And if he didn't go, it will be against Kanu's minions. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that is what Showore want to achieve, and he have succeeded in doing that. So Showore is a content creator. He doesn't know what is happening in the Southeast. Myself here, if not God, I would have been a victim of Nnamdi Kanu atrocities. So people should stop making cases of saying what they don't know. Let the Kanu and take his the sentence. If they give him life sentence.
What is your anticipation? Because we already have a judgment, Simon Ekpa 6 years. So if Nnamdi Kanu goes to trial, it will be very difficult, one, for them not to get a conviction. It will be a real sad indictment on the Nigerian legal space if they can't get a conviction. And if he does get a conviction, his punishment has to be more than what the finish gave Simon Ekpa.
Of course, because everything Simon Ekpa was doing was just copy and paste. Sure, Simon Ekpa he was in kindergarten to compare with Nnamdi Kanu. Okay, Nnamdi Kanu have not done half of what Kanu did. Okay, so Simon, for them to give Simon 6 years, Kanu should be getting like 25 years, if not life imprisonment. I'm telling you. So that is even it should be more than 25. Do you know how many lives was lost?
Really?
Yes. Do you know? As I'm talking to you now, there are some villages in the southeast that nobody is there for 5 years.
Are you from where, please?
I'm from Igbo. I'm an Igbo man.
Are you going back here?
Forget the bamboo. So you start tracing where my house is. I'm on Igbo.
Listen, I want to ask you something.
Okay.
There's something you said. You said, "Thank God that you are not a victim." But there is a way you sounded.
I say, thank God I would have been a victim. My friend.
You would have been a victim.
Yes, my friend that I was supposed to travel with. Those IESM, they caught him. They searched his vehicle. and saw army officers' mess ID card. You know what is officers' mess ID card? They discharged his passenger, said that he is Sabo. They took him away. November, this coming November, we make it 4 years. We didn't see his dead body. We didn't see his car. And I'm supposed to be in that car that day, and I was having my own ID card. Do you understand? So if not by God, if not that I missed that his vehicle, I wouldn't have been here talking to you now. So let people talk what they know. Kanu have destroyed Southeast, and he will pay for it.
You know, in many ways, a lot of and my battlefield. You can come in now, just so we get all the voices in. A lot of what is going on in the southeast now is still traceable. All this sit at home, all this unknown gunmen, the way that place has now become a no-go area. A lot of it, very still attributable to that Nnamdi Kanu space. But my battlefield, you're up next.
Yeah, good evening, guys. I've been enjoying your submissions, and you know what is making it worse? Some of the Southeast leaders, they are the one begging the government to release Kanu, and they are the one joining the protest now. So you cannot appropriate and appropriate at the same time. And meanwhile, some people are countering the fact that they let Ojukwu off, so they should. The same Igbo leaders, though, that since they let Ojukwu off, they should let Kanu off too. That's one now emboldening the government, right? And meanwhile, people have submitted so many things. Say, oh, it's taking so long. Are you aware that Abiola was there for 5 years? He wasn't even tried. You see, people are saying that Igbo. I said Igbo was never attacking anybody. He was defending. They say, okay, on the other basis, look at Onitiri and his gang in Ibadan. Where are they now? Some of them are even here. He's facing. So there's no impartiality here. And I will tell you, Showore is being very mischievous. And Atiku is being clever too. Do you know why Atiku is following Showore? Atiku is following Showore. He doesn't want Showore to turn this into another Nepalese this thing. He's monitoring Showore. Atiku, he knows that once Showore does things and Kanu is let off, that means they have to let off all the Boko Haram too. So let's be wise. Nobody should push us. And Atiku wants to be president of Nigeria at all costs. He doesn't want Showore to dabaru things for him. And Showore wants to cultivate people's interest in him, especially the Igbos. You know, some of our youth are very emotional. So he's buying time and he's spending time. The same Kanu admitted in court that those days were his. He never dismissed them. He never dismissed. So now, coming home to roost now, people are asking Kanu, okay, you say you've been there for too long. Now it's time for you to resubmit yourself. All this delay, they are caused majorly by Kanu himself. They've changed about 3 judges. He's changed lawyers too. You know, Agabi was one of the lawyers who was there before. I can't say Agabi anymore. Agabi is a senior lawyer. You know, Agabi came to court and he apologized for what Kanu has been harassing the judge Nyanko. I was abusing Nyanko. And you're also aware that in the court, we have British representatives in court. And they are watching all those things. They are watching. They'll be wondering, why did they let these people go? I think what Kanu is fighting for now is his passports. You know, once he's sentenced,
exactly, my brother. You know
it's
the
his
deal.
passport
Exactly.
he's fighting for. He's not fighting for any Igbo person, you know. You could see now he's humbled now. When he was blabbing, I watched him live. If you see, he was making broadcasts practically every day. And in some case, in legal terms, he could have said, oh, I was only bluffing. But he can't say that now because he was asking people to feed back to him.
Or maybe he could have done the Simon Nipa one and say he's a content creator.
But in this case, he cannot do it because people are feeding back to him. I say, oh, no, don't do that, can't do that. He was even telling people where to get GUN, getting people where to get UN. So in some case, even that broadcast alone is to finish him. And on top of it, you know that he was asking for genocide against Yoruba people. That case, when he finished this one, they took it to sue him independently. If you see what he did for the TVC girls and other things, and people who are protesting, I'm sure they are aware. I'm not sure they are aware that supporting a proscribed organization is a crime on its own. But Nigerian government is just waiting. You want them to finish themselves. You cannot be supporting a proscribed organization. That means you are already and you are betting a crime. So government just giving them people opportunity to finish themselves up all those politics they are doing, and she was asking them to just let him off nilly-willy without no charges, nothing. It's never done that way. It's never done. Even the British people, they will fight Nigerian government. Meanwhile, do you know Yinka Godson? The Igbos people, they
Yeah,
reported
he's in
him.
prison, isn't he? Yeah, Yenka grandson.
Yeah, he was in prison. And if someone he was inciting, someone, because someone said that, oh yeah, he wasn't in Nigeria when he was inciting. He was inciting in Nigeria. He was inciting outside Nigeria. I mean, Kanu. And again, this person too, Samuel Ekpa, he's got 6 years. His son is working for his principal, Kanu. Nigeria government will be a mockery if they just let Ekpa go. You see, they are actually playing hands. They are playing double hands, which is not helping the government. And people supporting Kanu, I hope they will not go out to protest that deal, because the government will have right to arrest anybody. You cannot be protesting.
Sorry, my battlefield. Let me ask you this question. I've asked everybody else because there's a lot of noise around the Nnamdi Kanu space, and the noise is for its release. Even Showore is leveraging that noise to use it for its own political space. But what do you think the wider Nigerian society, the silent majority, what do you think they want? People in the north, people in the southwest, and a lot of people in the southeast as well. What do you think they want with regards to Nnamdi Kanu? Because for me personally, I want a conviction and I want capital punishment just for the endless atrocities that guy committed. So many lives, I cannot see anything outside of a conviction, and I cannot see any judgment outside of a capital punishment. But what do you think the wider Nigerian space wants?
Okay, I think the other thing Nigeria properly wants is justice. And justice delayed is justice denied. Justice rushed is justice crushed. I get my point. So government they've balanced everything. They've seen how Kanu has been harassing judges in court, even assaulting his lawyer. If I were to be the judge, I would have been counting his sentence now. You have been given two years already for that breach of court protocol. But they let him off because they know the world is waiting and they want to make a mess of Kanu. But Kanu is not a wise person. He's very emotional. All these excuses have been demolished. And this country, they are waiting. You know that people here, we can sue Kanu here for what he did. We can sue him here. And individuals in Nigeria, the Yorubas, who is being acting that Yorubas people, they are useless, buy them. They are not worthy to live. That's genocide. Inciting to genocide. And all those people too, they can come here and sue Kanu. And as I'm telling you now, people are going to their MPs. I'm telling you secretly now, in open. People are going to their MPs now to report Kanu. So if he comes here, he cannot come here. They've already reported him here that these people, and people are actually suing the British government too. You see, for the past 3 weeks now, people protesting pro-Palestine. What have they been doing for them? Pro-Palestine, they didn't even say anything. Some of them, even a 14-year-old or 12-year-old was holding a flag. He was arrested. Some elderly women, 80, 85, 75, they didn't put any placard though. They didn't hold on any placard though. They just wrote something on the wall, on a placard, and sat beside it. They were all arrested, despite their ages. Whether they have medical problems, even someone can barely walk, they were all arrested. That's the weight of incitement. When you incite someone, it doesn't matter where you are, and we are aware that the British court here, they've given Nigerian government to try Kanu because they say he's got dual citizenship. So they have the right to sue him. The Supreme Court in Nigeria, they say it doesn't matter how they carry you, whether they carry you with crane, force you, feed you, you are in court now. The charges you are levied against you, that's what you need to defend. People, Nigerian government, they play their card very well here. They've been so patient with this guy. And I think he knows that it's going down. He knows it's going down. That's why he's fighting.
He jumped bail in the first instance now.
In the first instance, yes. So he hasn't got good reputations. And his lawyers, I'm sure his lawyers are very bad lawyers. Very bad lawyers. I will sack them. And after that, the people should report his lawyers too to the Nigerian Bar Association.
Especially that lawyer that was trying to ethnicize it. But land it, my battlefield, and then we have 3 minutes through news, and then we have Zaza coming as well, and then we open it up. Take this question with you. Do you think if Nnamdi Kanu gets a conviction in Nigeria, do you think that should and would lead to the revocation of his British passport? Before, sorry, before you get into that space, can people continue to tap, please, and share? And let me acknowledge Tilanda, has been the only gifter of this platform. Anytime I stream, he or she always gives. So thank you, Tilanda. And others can do that as well. Yes, do you think that would and should lead to the revocation of his British citizenship? You know, he's not a citizen by birth. He's a citizen
No, he's
by
not.
naturalization, and there are clauses to that naturalization. And I'm sure terrorism is part of the clauses. So should it lead to the revocation of his British citizenship? But I'll bring it home, and then we have the other two voices not yet spoken.
Not that it is guaranteed. Do you know the British Terrorism Act now? They don't even have to tell you that it will be revoked. They don't have to tell you. They don't have to tell you. They just revoke you without even informing you it's been revoked. Do you know that? If you go and check Terrorism Act, people who have been sent back, they said they didn't tell. They said they don't have to tell you. It's there. Because they tell you, you will do what, you won't go out. When they tell you won't go out. So they are waiting for those people who are here who've been charged for Terrorism Act.
Do you remember that
Terrorism.
girl,
They don't even
Benina
charge them, they
Begin
don't
or
even-
something? Do you remember some girl?
Begun.
Begun. She was actually British born. She wasn't even naturalized.
She was born British
and they revoked her citizenship and sent her back to the country of her parents.
Netherlands.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not sure that
husband.
Nnamdi Kanu will continue under that British passport after this court case.
No. I can never go to America again. He can never go to America. He can never go anywhere. He's stranded here. You see, people are not helping this guy. Especially his followers. They are denying. They are in denial. Denying. So they fail on all fronts. And he hasn't got... You know, there was a time he came to court. He said, give me 1 week. We silence everybody in the Southeast. And he was even boasting to be a god. So I can play God if I like. He can play. Do you think those governors want him back too? No. So Kanu is safer in prison than outside of prison.
He said they had the power over life and death. Do you remember that broadcast?
I remember that. Yes. But if I were him now, I'll be begging the judge to put me in prison because he's safer in prison than outside prison. People are waiting for him. If I were him, I'll be begging the judge. I wouldn't be the one to beg the judge. Please sentence me. I beg of you. That's what you should be doing now. Thank you.
All right, brilliant. Let's bring 3 minutes in. Let's bring true news rather in, and then let's set it on a timer just to manage the time. So floor is yours. True news. We're talking about the Nnamdi Kanu conundrum. Which way Nigeria in terms of Nnamdi Kanu? Because it is beyond just his crimes now. It's an ethno-political space. But how do you think the government should navigate that space? True news.
I mean, thank you for the platform and the privilege for me to say something on your platform. I mean, the government has a structure, most especially when under the leadership of Hashiwaju. So Kanu is not is a known terrorist, you get, and the rule of law cannot be trampled upon. You cannot ask for pardon for somebody who is not been sentenced. You get. If he wants pardon, let him, get his judgment and then ask for pardon. You get. But without that, it will be stupid to put the cart before the horse. You get what I'm saying? Because Showore is doing something that I call smart on his own side, but to the detriment of the Igbo tribe. You understand? Because he's playing politics with everything. It doesn't look at where to draw the lines. Just like Obi played politics religiously by saying this is a religious war You understand? You see, politicians in Nigeria, mostly the ones who came in halfway, in the journey, they do rough fight a lot. You understand? Unlike Ashiwaju, who had been there during the military regimes in Nigeria, that were back to back, that even the first democracy, he was there to fight. He was one of the people who ran into exile because of the oppression we had in Nigeria during the military regime. That's a true politician that we have seen over time. So him now coming from experience, you understand? I tell you, as somebody who has been watching him as a mentor, know that Ashiwaju can handle all of these guys just in one sitting. You understand? Kanu is not a threat to Ashiwaju. Ashiwaju did not arrest Kanu. Jubril did the arrest. You understand? So I believe they should be talking to Jubril if they can find Jubril, and if they cannot find Jubril, you understand?
You mean Jubril of Sudani? Jubril of Sudan.
Yeah, the one that actually did the Fulani Janjaweed, that actually did the arrest of Kanu. It was Jubril. Kanu himself said it, It's easy to find. You see, Kanu is scared of listening to his own self in court. He doesn't want to listen to all of the things he said. He's scared. That is why, and then maybe Kanu is not even behind all of these protests. Maybe it's just Showore that is playing his SUG presidency activism. You understand? So, for me, all of these guys and their coup and their whatever movement, they are just like, at the tap of a finger will be taken care of by Ashiwaju. Ashiwaju is somebody who is, it's a fountain of knowledge. You understand? He is an institution himself. So all these guys, they're just like, you get what I'm saying? So the people who want to do protests, let them do it. We'll have opportunity to make recordings of them, to actually see the people behind all of this atrocity in broad daylight. You understand? And then if you always point to America, point to Finland, point to other countries, that Nigeria should emulate them. And now, Olayinka something, UK had, did something to him.
Grandson.
Finland
Adeyinka grandson.
Grandson. UK did what you expected, right? And Finland did what you expected. Now you want to change you want to move the post when it comes to Nigeria. I don't understand how how do you now like to pick and choose what you want to emulate and what you do not want to emulate? You see, Ogboro Kakbo, you understand? The fact remains that this guy is a criminal, he's a terrorist, he has jumped bail. If he knows he believes in what he's doing, let him stand trial.
All right.
Let us
Land it
watch
and
it
then we
live.
hear from Zaza. Land it.
You understand? So I will leave it at that. Thank you.
All right, Billion. Excellent input. So Zaza, yeah, you're up next, of course.
One man.
Yeah.
Kindly give me like 4 minutes, sir. 4 minutes.
Yeah, no, I'm giving you 5. Yes, we're doing 5 minutes.
No. I mean.
Oh,
You
come
can
back to you.
pass the mic. Yeah, you can pass the mic in 4 minutes or 5 minutes. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Adebayo then as we wait for Zaza to join us. Bayo, you're up next.
Good evening, everyone. I joined through my boss, Zaza, right? And I will start by saying this, right? I first feel this government is, will I say, too liberal, that they are not seeing a lot of thought in what Sowore wants to do, right? The first thing is threatening to take a protest to Aso Villa is, to me, it's a sign of treason, right? And we all know the punishment for treason. in a well organized country. So should not be moving freely for now. And why I say so is we have seen recent protests whereby and in the Asia and Middle East where their presidential palace were being vandalized and government officials being captured, things being destroyed, and it actually led to the president either being captured or fleeing that country. So it is a sign of treason. In fact, when I saw a news today that there was a planned coup, but those who were involved were arrested, the first thing I posted was, why is Sowore still moving freely? Because when you go on that comment section of these things, you need to see the praises they are giving. Oh, they will move, and we know the way Nigeria works. If Sowore can move to that Aso Villa and do his whatever protest, these opportunist youths will use it to vandalize and lay threats on the national unity of Nigeria, the unity of Nigeria, and from there we are smelling treason. So the question is, why is Sowore still moving freely in a country like this? That is one. Secondly, you want to go and protest for a man who has court case. It is just like you are restricting judicial process in a country with court and what have you. First, you do not call for the release of someone who has not been convicted, right? What you do is you allow the courts to do their work. If he is found guilty, if he's not found guilty, he will go. If he's found guilty, then you can call for a pardon. If in custody his attitude, his character worth it, he will be granted pardon. But now this is a judicial process. Even the executive cannot obstruct judicial process. But you are not even waiting for him to be convicted. You just want him to go. And mind you, there are evidences, like there are more than enough evidence to persecute this man. But we know how it's been done in country like Nigeria. They take their time to review these evidences and before they convict. So Sowore is now coming out saying, oh, he wants to protest for this. And I am happy with, in fact, the people who support these guys, I am sure a lot of them will not be in Abuja. They will not be in Abuja. They will not be in Abuja to come and do this protest. But Sowore, we know him. In fact, at a point, I call him Cash TVs because he does this thing for his popularity, his fame, and what have you. Then secondly, admittedly,
You know
I
that
also
Sowore
want
is
to
being
ask.
sponsored by the Americans, McCarthy Foundation.
Yeah, yes. So thirdly, I want to ask, why do we have to even wait till this government before the protest? What happened to the government who captured this man? In fact, this man was first arrested and he was given the freedom to move and be coming from home for his case. Guess what he did? This same man ran away. He had to be captured in Kenya and extradited back to Nigeria, which means the law has even given that opportunity to be coming from home. But guess what? He ran away. They could not find him, and they have to capture him. It is Interpol. His case has got to the international community that Interpol had to arrest him. Now, look at what happened in Finland. Samuel Ekpa has not even done quarter of what this man has done. We cannot see the damages this guy has caused cannot be overemphasized, right? And Samuel Ekpa has not done quarter, but yet the Finnish government have to convict him. And you are coming to tell us that. Anyway, anyone who is still listening to Sowore by this time, he was on a platform and I asked him, I think 3 months ago, he was on a platform campaigning, and I asked him, I said, I participated in the last election
You know,
in
I've
the
had him
entire
on my
local
platform
government.
before on my YouTube.
So I asked him a question. I said, you don't even have agents in the local government I participated. He started saying blah blah blah. So me, I just know all these gimmicks is for the cash and for the popularity. But then, if Sowore, if he goes out to do this protest, I think he should be arrested because this is treason smelling in our backyard. I will stop here, host.
Oh, all right, brilliant. We have Zaza back. So Zaza, the floor is yours. We're discussing the complexity that is in Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay. Thank you. I have nothing much to say because all this narrative rhetorics online, I mean, it's messy. Let's delve into what's happening. Um, there are some arguments about Nnamdi Kanu, and is it justifiable to protest for his release? No, it is not justifiable because he has not even been convicted. His case is still ongoing. His case is still ongoing. Now, in the Constitution, are you trying to tell the president to rewrite the Constitution? Because somebody who ordered the massacre of Igbo brothers and sisters in the southeast, and all of a sudden, some persons are coming out to call for his release. You are not taking into account the grief of those families, of those victims, you know. And there are some arguments online where some persons are saying they are forgiving some bandits, they are negotiating. It is not the federal government that is negotiating with bandits or what have you. It is the state government that are negotiating with those guys, not the federal government. So, and if you check closely, the leaders of every terrorist organization in Nigeria have always been taken out. They've been, how do I put it, eliminated. All of them. In fact, the ones that are not eliminated are convicted. Like the two leaders of Ansar, they were convicted last month. So the leaders of every terrorist organization have always been eliminated. Now, these are the charges of on against Nnamdi Kanu. Number one is treasonable felony. Kanu is charged with advocating a violent overthrow of the Nigerian government and attempting to foment secession. 2, incitement of violence. That one is very, very obvious. Now, another one is felony conspiracy. That's coordinating IPOB activities that the government claims conspire to destabilize Nigeria. Another one is defamation of government officials. And also dissemination of false information. Also, possession of communication equipment for unlawful purposes. And you can see from the document he registered in UK, the purpose of the document for the IPO is for cultural purposes, whereas he was not using it for cultural purposes. He was using it to incite violence. So, also, the ultimate part of it is the terrorism charges. There are multiple accounts that about Nnamdi Kanu's actions, terrorism charges, and a statement whatsoever. Now, tell me, among these charges against Nnamdi Kanu, if he is not being eliminated, he's going to get minimum of 25 above years. He has not been convicted yet, but the delay is coming from his lawyers. It's coming from his lawyers. They are not ready to open any defense. In fact, 2 days ago, they were still saying they say has to file to stop all the trials against Nnamdi Kanu, and that's how they've been doing for years. Now about the protest, I saw from the MPF page this afternoon that they've gotten a federal court order to stop the protest in some particular areas in Abuja. Those areas were mentioned explicitly in that it was mentioned that no protest should be conducted in those particular areas. Now, I believe that the police will do their job. They will follow the court order, and in establishing what we call peace in Abuja. So, penultimately, let me conclude with this. For everyone who wants to protest, I believe you can allow, because all of you have been saying that the court, our judicial, this thing is not working, it's not this thing is not effective. Let the court, let the judicial process, let it finish. Let the judicial process, let it finish. If he's been convicted, then you can talk to the president if he can pardon him. But for now, there is no way a sensible government will release Nnamdi Kanu, because on releasing him, I believe that is exactly what you guys want. But no sensible government will release him, because on releasing him, you guys know what you're trying to achieve by releasing him. Because other regions also will rise up and talk to the federal government. Oh, why did you why did you allow somebody from our region and you release this one? I believe that is exactly the mission of these people that are protesting for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, and it will not work. So let's allow the judicial process to work, and it's ongoing. I believe what most of you should be doing right now is pressuring the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu to open the defense against all these charges. So thank you.
Let me ask you a question, Zaza, and then we're going to Kenny. This Showore angle. So Showore, of course. A lot of people feel that it's a cynical exploitation of the Nnamdi Kanu narrative for political clout. But then Showore has a history of agitations anyway. But in this particular instance, do you think it's altruistic? It's been altruistic? It's just been the usual championing of the oppressed, or is it leveraging this space for a multi-dimensional political play? Because it's calling out a lot of the southeastern leaders. If they come out, that goes against them, as somebody said earlier. And if they don't come out, that also goes against them. So do you think Chowore is just really exploiting for political leverage?
Well, I'm not really sure those leaders will come out. I'm not really sure they will come out. I had somebody like Uwazurike who was pardoned. He still said he's going to come out for the protest. Now, I don't believe the leaders will come out. In fact, I believe it's going to be a flop protest. Because you see all these clouds, all this online, most of them are not in Nigeria to even go to the protest ground. Most of them are not even in Nigeria. Now, where are they going to protest? Abuja, even if also in the southeast. Let's wait, but it's already a flop protest. It can just pay a few persons to come out and protest. Now, also, let me put this straight. I think Igbos have always been at the receiving end of everything, in terms of this victimization, playing this victim card always. Now, they have this particular emotion. They have this particular emotion that anyone can utilize at any time. Anyone can use this emotion for his own selfish reasons. I mean, what was Showore? Does he even look as if Showore has the interest of the Igbos at heart? He's only trying to use their emotions. I mean, I've always said it in many lives that if you really, really want to be at the good book of the Igbos today, just go in front of them and shout Biafra 3 times. You know, they can start to worship you.
Actually, Zaza, let me agree with you for a microsecond. If you want to be in the good books of the Igbos, shout Biafra, say free Nnamdi Kanu, and Peter Obi for president. They will give you a wife.
Yeah, yeah, yes. And everybody wants to cash in on that. Everybody wants to utilize it. Saudi, he can go to those markets. Let them come out. Also, the federal government, the federal high court already, they already gave a court order, and the police, they are going to implement this court order. So, anybody, even Atiku, whose fellow Adamawa person was unalived due to this, he's not even having any sympathy for Ahmed Gulak. Now he's paying for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So you can see the true picture of everything. They only want to bring down the government. They want to cause chaos by using the emotions of the Igbos, which is not going to be successful. It's not going to be successful. So thank you.
All right, Brilliant. Always excellently put by Zaza. So Kenny, you're up next. The conundrum that is Nnamdi Kanu, to be or not to be.
Thank you, woman. Thank you, everyone in the box. Thank you for the opportunity. Listen, woman. This thing about the protest, right? Number one, is dead on arrival. They're not going to go anywhere. And see, the question I've been asking myself is, why are they doing delay tactics? Why do they do? They don't want this guy to go and face his trial. You understand? Because they are the one delaying his the trial, but by themselves. Then you have some people now say they want to go on the streets to go and protest. Woman, okay, they want to protest. Do you know the location of their protest? The seat of power. That's where she will choose. And he choose Esans date, October 20. I feel sorry for the children of those people that will follow Shiwere to that place. You know, because Shiwere, what he actually wanted to be arrested by the government. He's been gaslighting them all this while. But if you go to the seat of power, you want to go and sit president, he's going to face a lot of law. And I will not surprise if they pay him there, to be honest. Because at the same time, I'm sorry, I'm just going everywhere. I don't know why the Igbos allow themselves to be used in this way. All because of your Biafra or no Biafra. Why can't they open their eyes, open their hearts, and see the truth that this guy actually wants to use them? Shobode is a Yoruba man. You understand? What is his end game? Right? What is he looking for? To say, okay, it's time for you to ask for Nnamdi Kanu release. And I said to anybody that supports this guy and that's asking for his release, if your children, your family, they're one of those people that pined during the Eastern time, when this guy was giving them the command to go and do this, go and do that, what are you going to say? Are you going to be happy? Are you going to ask them to release him? You get my point? So it's just, woman, it's very, very, very sad to see someone like Atiku at the same time to say he's supporting it, all because of politics. Already, they already fail. No matter what they do, no matter the action, no matter what the step they take, they will not move Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I don't want you to take it there into the politics of Ashwaju, but that is their game. They just want to try to make sure the guy is not succeed. You're not saying you want to support a criminal. A criminal. The guy is a criminal. I have no sympathy for him. If he love himself, if his people love him, they should allow his team to submit a defense and face trial. If they sentence you to life imprisonment, then you can start asking for pardon. But you are delaying, and you are keeping him there. He's been there for how many years now? 5 years or thereabout. I think if they've opened their defense all this while, probably they might have sentenced him. Maybe okay, we give you 10 years. After 10 years, 5 years is gone. Maybe we might have got pardon. And the person you are agitating for that they should release him, I should surrender. I should even surrender that okay, I'm no more agitating anymore. I'm a changed person. Then there's no judgment. You're asking for pardon.
So sorry, Kenny. You see, even that pardon, it will be somewhat of a difficult thing because before they're able to pardon him, they will have to ask him to renounce Biafra, and even
Exactly.
it's not what it's like to renounce Biafra. Because if he renounces Biafra, is worse than capital punishment for him. Then it becomes just a joke. So they cannot really say without getting something back. So he has to renounce Biafra for a pardon, and he will never do that. So it's very, very unlikely.
One man, he would never in his life do it. You see, this guy, for the fact that he's in prison, he was even asking for donation. So, I don't know why he's so stubborn. You understand? I don't know why he's not focusing on his own trial. Tell your team to submit the defense and see how it goes. But because one man, they have no defense, they know the guy is guilty, like yesterday. They have concrete evidence against him. He cannot defend it. He know he's guilty of all the charges against him. That's why they are doing all this shenanigans. And I don't see Ashwabi Ahmed Tinubu to releasing him. No way, he's not going to do that. He will not do that. So my advice to him and his team is they should go and submit their own defense and let's see how it goes. After that, people do that. They cannot say, okay, we want to do this. Even his own state, they're still doing sit at home all because of him. So there's no repentance from any one of them. Both him, his region, and all of them. Even there are people they are behind him. So they just allow them to be used like a piece of rag. I'm sorry to use that language. Maybe they don't the woman the way you always say they don't have the mental capacity. You know what I mean to face
I would say mental acuity, but thank you, Kenny. Can people go and follow Kenny? Kenny is one of the bigger voices within the Nigerian political conversations on TikTok. He streams regularly and is always a delight anytime he's on. Stay with us, Kenny. Let's wrap up all the other two voices. Dila City, you're up next. The conversation, your contribution. We're talking about Nnamdi Kanu. A lot of people want him to be taken to the bar beach and tied to a barrel.
Well, man, I always like your sense of humor, honestly. Listen, woman, I've been listening to everybody, and Nigerians, we are so funny. And I don't know the reason why we're so funny. I live in the UK, here in the UK, and I think you live in the UK as well. Well, is it possible for an accused person, even if that person steals chin from the supermarket, that person is in front of a judge, and you're asking the king to pardon him? It's not possible. At least he should be tried. He should be tried. Guilty or not guilty, the guy should be tried. Then, if he's guilty, then you can ask the president to pardon him. I think they should let him face the trial and let us see what happens. If he's guilty, fine. If he's not guilty, then they will let him go. But one thing people are not thinking about, another thing people are not thinking about, this guy has issue with Buhari. Buhari is dead. And now you want Tinubu to release him. What kind of setup is that? That's a trap. Tinubu will not fall for that. Even if the guy is in prison now, and Tinubu think, okay, I should have pity on this guy, he will not do that. Because if Tinubu should do that, Tinubu will have issue with Buhari supporters. I think the guy is cooked. He's cooked. Believe me. Another point, they are not thinking about this. We Nigerians, we are different nation living in a country. This guy is from the southeast. He sat down there. He called for the head of the king of Yoruba land. He called for the head of the political leaders of Yoruba land. He asked them on his order to destroy Lagos, and they obey. And now the leaders from the southeast asking Tinubu to release him. I mean, I don't know how people think. Man, I don't know how people think. I've been listening to everybody, but no one is talking about this. Everything is based on emotional. You releasing, releasing. Try the guy. Let them sentence him. If he's guilty, fine. If he's not guilty, then you can talk about asking Tinubu or begging Tinubu to release him. And as for Omayele Sowore, of course, Sowore is doing his things. Sowore, we all know him. He's a joker. So I don't have much to say about Sowore. That's what I have to say. I think I'll see you again around. Man, I've not been seeing you around. We met sometimes at Morrison.
Oh,
That
right.
was last year.
Oh, God.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at that. I have to be careful. All this, the days of Biafran come across me in
You said
London.
so.
I think
Yeah,
that
you,
was
yeah,
it.
yeah. That was funny. On your show in the evening, you actually thought I was one of the obedient. I said, that's an insult. Come on.
No. It's funny actually because I've met quite a few people now. They always come out to say hello, but I'm just sometimes in anticipation that I will come across this Biafran. They won't know it's just online something.
Yeah. No, listen, I don't have issue with Nnamdi Kanu. Yeah, well, so we have criminals everywhere. I mean, criminals in the south, in the east, but it's all that people are not thinking straight. Come on, okay, release him because he's an Igbo guy. What nonsense. So if the guy is a criminal, let him face the music. Now, if people compare it to Sunday Igbo, come on now. No, it's not with Sunday Igbo. Come on.
All right. Let's hear from Think Right, and then maybe we want to think to start to wrap it up. Can people please take the taps to 10,000? I don't think we've quite ever reached that yet. So take the taps to 10,000, and then if you're not following, please follow. So do those two things. Take the taps to 10,000 and follow if you're not following already. Think Right, Speak Right.
Okay, good evening from here. Thanks for your program. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. First of all, I've said it last time I was in your program. I think the Nnamdi Carlos issue and popularity is being blown out of proportion. It staggers my imagination when people try to equate IPOB to Igbos. Let me make it clear and say it over and over again. IPOB and its member is less than 0.00% of the entire Igbos. And it should be on record. We should know this and get it right. The first that proscribed IPOB were 5 Igbo-speaking state governors. Until now, they have not lifted it. So it would be unfair to link Nnamdi Kanu criminality to the entire Igbos. By the way, 99.9% of the people Nnamdi Kanu and his group white were all Igbos. If there is any tribe or any group of people that should call for Nnamdi Kanu's head, it should be the Igbos. The people Nnamdi Kanu insulted the most, the businesses he destroyed the most, the people he acquired and his group were the Igbos. Now, it's very unjust for other tribes, other brothers and sisters from other tribes to always try to link IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu and generalize it. This is what the Igbos. I think Nnamdi Kanu's popularity is blown out of proportion. Let me ask again, how many educated Igbo youths, men and women, have you seen following Nnamdi Kanu? Almost all of Nnamdi Kanu's followers are Okada riders, Keke riders, asylum seekers abroad. Check it.
And for the fact they are making a lot of noise, doesn't make them the majority. We have the la creme de la creme in the society in Igbo land. You don't see them talking about, by the way, every Tom, Dick, and Harry knows that Sowore is a joker. He still finds it difficult to differentiate himself from a school activism and being a real Nigerian politician. If Sowore wants to pretend as if he loves the Igbos more than the Igbos love themselves, there are a lot of things he can fight for. There are demolitions. There are a lot of things he can talk about the Igbos, not Nnamdi Kanu. What happened in Sowore and then Nnamdi Kanu's case? Remember, all these people are opposition. Atiku, Sowore, they had the feeling that, oh, maybe the election is coming and Tinubu may like to use Nnamdi Kanu and play as a ping-pong card to use it to woo the Igbos. Bam! They went inside it and said, okay, let's do it before, in case that's what he's planning. Sowore has nothing to do with making or trying to solve Nnamdi Kanu's problem. And by the way, all this, I want to use the word nonsense of Nnamdi Kanu calling for Biafra. Nnamdi Kanu has even if you get Biafra today, Nnamdi Kanu will fight for it. Nnamdi Kanu is there only for fame and money. You can hear him saying, somebody that have been in jail for how many years, what is in Nnamdi Kanu? The only thing...
Sorry, think right. Sorry, can we take the taps to 10,000? We're nearly there. Sorry, carry on.
Okay. Over the years, even when he was there, before Simeon Ekpa was jailed, Nnamdi Kanu, they have been telling him to say something. Say something. Are you this? Are you that? He never said anything. Only for a few days ago, so Nnamdi Kanu can talk. What did he say? He's talking about fundraising. That alone shows you where and what he wants. It's all about money. When Nnamdi Kanu started this IPOB nonsense, he was talking about Wazirike, how he made a lot of money, how he built hostels, all those he wanted to tap in. That is all about. And what has Nnamdi Kanu achieved? Even on a political, did we end up getting an extra local government? No. Did we get other states? No. Did we get anything? Nnamdi Kanu can't even boast of a nursery school to his credit. Now, let me say it again. Let me say it again over and over. Nnamdi Kanu is a criminal. 5 Igbo-speaking governors proscribed IPOB before the Armed Forces and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They have not lifted it. They might come out and say something, play their do some political jamboree to make sure they win from those little rats at home shouting free onion, all those kind of nonsense. But they know what they want to do. They know what they are doing. If they really want to remove Nnamdi Kanu, they should start by removing the ban and finding a way to make sure that IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu are not called terrorists. They have not done that. Now, if you want to talk about Igbos, please tell me what my senator says. Tell me what the governors are saying. Tell me what the House of Assembly members, local government chairman. Don't tell me what Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB will prescribe. We already call them terrorists. And you are now bringing it, throwing them into our face and said, oh, they are representing you. How do you think Hausa Fulani will feel when you say, oh, Boko Haram is representing Hausa Fulani? What we have in the East is Igbo Lani, not Fulani. What we have is our Igbo Haram, not Boko Haram. Please, that should be corrected. Nnamdi Kanu and his cohort, they are terrorists. My 5 Igbo-speaking governors, state governors, declared them terrorists. They have not removed it. Forget about the gerrymandering, whatever nonsense they are doing, saying, just to win one point or the other. If they really want Nnamdi Kanu out, they know what to do. And they are not doing it, which means they don't want him out. It's only that Nnamdi Kalu's nonsense is a joke gone too far. When he started this nonsense, they could have curtailed his excesses. But we thought he was joking until BAM, ESN was launched. He unleashed his men, and all the nook and cranny in Igbo land, everybody's got the onslaught. So please, our Yoruba brothers, TV, Bibio, Hausa, Fulani, Nnamdi Kalu and IPOB are not representing the Igbos. Stop making Nnamdi Kalu's criminality an Igbo thing. It has nothing to do with the Igbos. A criminal, we called Nnamdi Kalu a terrorist. Our governors proscribed his organization, called them terrorists. You have no right to equate Nnamdi Kalu to the Igbos. Thank you once again for your time.
Okay, Mr. Woman, can I ask Mr.
Yes,
Thinkright?
yes, you can. But I want to signpost. In fact, I was going to even speak to you. Just to a little bit of advertising. Our main platform is really on YouTube, where we have a very strong presence. Me, Mabuyowa, where Zaza. That's where our real presence is. We often have big guests. Kenny Might is a part of that platform, so he can verify. We often have big guests there. We've had Shegun Showumi, we've had Prince Adebole Adebayo, we've had Chidi Odinkalu. Who else have we had there? Normally later our guest was Kenny. We've had Bayomi Arabambi. We've had the whole
SDP chairman as well.
SDP chairman Shehu Gaban. We've just the
Gaban,
whole
yeah.
raft of so many guests we've had, and we're going to be having Sam Amadi very soon. I'm speaking to him. So we're going to be having more and more guests. So it's the same name. One Man Went to Mo. We stream in the dead of the night, but when we have guests, we have it around about 10 p.m. UK time. One Man Went to Mo. If you want to come follow us, Zaza, you wanted to say?
Yeah. Is it? Should I say Mr. or Mrs. Thinkright? Because that voice is.
It's Mrs., please.
Okay. Yeah. Miss Thinkright. To be frank with you, I would say it is also dishonest to say that a large percentage of Igbos are not in one way or the other sympathetic to IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu. You said we should not equate it with the Igbos. You said it is a separate entity. Now, in a situation where we've always had conversations and on daily basis, out of 100%, sorry, let me put it this way. Randomly, if you profile 10 Igbos randomly, not people that you know before, why is it that if at least eight is sympathetic or an active IPO member, 8 or at least let's say 7, and you know that's a bigger percentage, why is it that they've always been sympathetic or active IPO member or Mazi Nnamdi Kanu follower? That's the way they put it though. That's number one question. Number two is that with the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu, or even before the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu, people like you, Madam Thinkright, and also few persons that are speaking against Nnamdi Kanu of recent, where were you to advocate or to agitate to the necessary authority for him to stop as at then? Where were you guys? Those are my two questions.
Okay, thank you very much. If you know Ijele, Blessedom, Nyoke Chukwu, they will tell you about Thinkright. We've been doing that even when Ijele was in Turkey. But the only thing is that, just like I said, Nnamdi Kalu's nonsense was a joke gone too far. Initially, nobody was taking him serious. That was why he got emboldened, and from there, it escalated to something else. So we spoke about it. We criticized him. We fought him in our own little way. But if the law or government is something to go by, if my governor say that you are a terrorist, I think it supersedes whatever anybody can say. Now you are talking about the sampling you did. You know, in simple random sampling, it depends on where you are pulling. If you go to Oshodi, for example, or Alaba or Ariaria market, or Onucha market, you know the kind of people you will meet there. So the sampling you withdraw there, when you are doing your sampling, you know that Nnamdi Kanu and his boys ravaged the media, the cyberspace. They were everywhere. One of them was confessing a few days ago that he has 45 Facebook accounts and almost 20 Twitter accounts and other stuff. So they are always, don't be surprised, all these people you are interviewing, all the people you are pulling, they are the same person. I want to mention his name, Achebe Paul. He said he has 42 Facebook accounts. Somebody like Darlington has said it over and over that he has 32 accounts. So they are not hiding it. So who are you meeting? Where are you meeting them? If you are going to Ariare market to make your sample opinion pool or Oshodi or all these places, of course, that is the kind of people you will get. Have you been able to talk to Obi Kubana? Did you talk to the professors, the teachers, the ordinary people? Have you been to the village, the people bearing the brunt of Nnamdi Kalu's mayhem? Did you talk to them?
Madam, sorry to interject you. Sorry to interject you. About even the scholars from the southeast, even they are not residing in the southeast currently. There is a lecturer, an Igbo man. He's a lecturer in Nasarawa State University, and even his words were even much more aggressive, harsher compared to Nnamdi Kanu. And he is a follower. He is a lecturer
very good.
in Nasarawa
You know,
State University.
I was responding to you. You said, according to your poll, that 7 out of 10. You are talking only about one lecturer now. How many lecturers have you been able to pull?
What if it occurs every day like that?
That's what I'm saying. The statistics you have is not enough. If you want to do a sample, you know how to get the real sample. You know that you have to cut across the spectrum. You don't need to, if I want to talk about the Yoruba people, then I'm talking to OPC only people. Or I'm talking to, I want to talk about the Hausa, Boko Haram, then I'm talking to all these people. No. If you want to do that, you have to get, for you to get a good result, you have to cut across the spectrum so that we get a good sampling. That's what I'm trying to say. In the cyberspace, Nnamdi Kanu messed it up. That's why by the time you see any of us there, all of them, they will jump on us. But when you go to the villages, see reality, it's a different thing altogether. Now, let me tell you again, let me ask you, we are all enlightened here. Are you going to believe what an Okada man in Onucha is telling you about Nnamdi Kanu, or that lecturer you are talking about, or you will believe what the 5 Igbo speaking states, who are the executive, says about Nnamdi Kanu? Which one are you going to believe?
You want me to do a poll on those people you just mentioned, right?
No, I ask you a question. Who is representing the Igbos, the governors, or the Okada men?
Of course, I will believe the governors.
And what did the governors do to Nnamdi Kanu and his group? Can you answer me, please?
Of course, they were against the agitation. They were against it, and they proscribed the IPOB as a terrorist.
Have they lifted the ban?
Not yet, but in a situation, you see,
case closed, my brother. There is no need playing gambles over it. Case closed.
My sister, answer this question too. Why as a governor obeying
Sorry,
to
I
the
think we have to
leaders.
listen to what
So
think right is saying. What she's actually saying is that Nnamdi Kanu does not represent the. It represents a pedestrianized level of that society, and they are. You know, it's often the case. Actually, you always hear the most noise from the pedestrian space, but the silent majority are usually the enlightened space. And what Think Right is telling us is that the enlightened space within the southeast, they just see Nnamdi Kanu as a bit of just a street urchin, to use the words of Okonkwo, just some random guy taking advantage of the gullible. But I think what,
Exactly. It's as
yeah, but
simple as that.
I think what Zaza is pushing at you, Think Right, is that even though you hold that opinion, is you are not verbalizing it and actioning it assertively enough. So you have surrendered that center stage to the Nnamdi Kanu narrative, and that narrative now seems to be the entire narrative of the Southeast, because people of your strata in society, they are too silent. Is that roughly where you are, Zaza?
Yeah, sure. You just nailed it. You nailed it there. You nailed it. Yeah.
No, but for example, for us, we believe that we've defined Nnamdi Kalu enough. Scratching below doesn't make any sense because we have freedom of worship, freedom of association, freedom of anything. Anybody can go into the cyberspace and do whatever he wants. You can't control that. So what I care for is what my representatives are saying about these people. And they have made it clear. They have not changed it. If you should say anything about the entire region, tell me what my representative is saying. That's what
Think
I'm
Right.
saying.
Think Right.
Hello,
Yes.
Madam Think Right.
I want to answer
Madam
this
Think
question,
Right.
please. Okay. Why
All
are
right,
your
ask that question, and then we
governor
bring
Please, I
of
have been
Southeast
Rap.
trying to
obeying
listen
Sorry,
Sister
hold on,
since.
Rap for sure. Ask that question, Kenny, and then we bring Rap for sure. We've not yet heard from him or her. But Kenny, who
Oh,
does Think Right? Does she not sound like Zeta a little bit?
yeah, she does. Yes. Yes, she does. Yeah, so my sister, why are your governor obeying sister at home and your people in Southeast? Why are they obeying that sister at home on Monday? Because to me, I believe they are part of Nnamdi Kanu agitation stuff, and Obi himself has never condemned him. He's even asking for release of Nnamdi Kanu. And Obi is the one that representing Southeast to the best of my knowledge. So why are you guys in Southeast obeying sit at home, including your governor? Thank you.
Okay. When you call somebody a terrorist, what do terrorists do? Now, when you say why our governors, I am from Imo State. My governor has already every time said it over and over again that Nnamdi Kalu is not representing the Igbos or representing my state. He was never elected. He didn't consult anybody. Nobody nominated him. It's his own personal stuff. He registered it as a personal company and organization. Now, you understand the complexity of Nigeria. The state governors, they are not in charge of the security. The army, the police are in charge of the security. If you remember when this nonsense started, a lot of people defied Nnamdi Kalu. They came out and they were all shot dead. It's not, we don't have state police. We don't have state army. Now, that question should go to the federal government. Why are you allowing the joke to go too far? That question should go to the federal government and not the state. We don't have state police. Now, the governors try to have something like what they call to counter Nnamdi Kalu, state local vigilante. But they are not as properly armed as what we have. And moreover, Nnamdi Kalu is a terrorist organization. You know what terrorists, even America couldn't, it took America, even till now, they are still fighting ISIS and Al-Qaeda. It's not easy to fight terrorism. They call it by their name. We are trying to dilute Nnamdi Kalu's complicity. Nnamdi Kalu is a terrorist. A terrorist is a terrorist. If you want to equate Nnamdi Kalu, it should be something like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Taliban, Akwasa Brigade, Hezbollah, Hamas, and all the rest of them. And you know how they operate. I don't know whether I answered your question. Thank you once again.
All right, brilliant, excellently put. Stay with us. I think right. I think we like the sound of your voice and the quality of your assertions. Let's bring Rab for sure in. So Rab for sure, you are up next. We'll give you about 5 minutes. Let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I've been on the on the live for like an hour, and I think this is one of the best channel I've been, for the mere fact that I got hooked at a previous speaker who is of Igbo origin, and the way the individual spoke, it brought in a more balanced view that I felt like it's been a while. I see someone who is like thinking right now. I was of the opinion, because where I was is a little bit noisy, and I was of the opinion that I would try and see if I will be approved to speak, to commend the speaker and some of the Igbo speaker that has spoken previously, and talk within the line that Think Right is talking. But while still waiting to come on the live to explain that, Think Right came and spoke about it. What I was going to say is mostly what she said. But to me, it sounded more defensive than being balanced. In one of the statements, I had how many educated Igbos support Nnamdi Kanu. I think the right question should be, how many also voice out against him? It's not about not talking, not supporting him. How many bigwigs came out en masse to voice out against his stance? In another statement, you mentioned how many were killed. It's a disservice to the videos. I watched one videos around 2002. I mean, sorry, 2022.
Sorry. Use the word "pi" so that you don't trigger the.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm
No,
sorry
carry on.
about that.
Carry on.
Yes, yes,
No,
yes.
it's fine.
I'm sorry about that. I watched a video about an army officer who are both Christians. One from Kaduna, I believe. I believe you. A lot of people, if not all the people here, knows about what I'm talking about. 3 days I couldn't get myself from watching that video. It's so abhorrent, so unimaginable. It's using GUN. It's easier even for somebody who doesn't have the heart, but somebody who could use such an as in, it's just unimaginable. And you said how many were pine from other tribe. It's the right. You are right by that fact. And in fact, I was going to speak about that fact, that a lot of the people, the victims, are from this particular region, which are the Igbos. But nobody cares about that. Do you know why nobody cares about that? Let me explain why nobody cares about that. An American can buy 500 American, go into the shopping mall and buy 500 American. Number, let an Arab buy 50, and it will be a declaration of WAR. It will be on the news. It will be so massive, because if I slap my brother, if I eat my brother, if I do something bad to my brother, when the neighbor see it, they said it's family issue. Nobody cares. But the day I slap my neighbor or my neighbor's wife, now everybody is going to get involved. So yes, it is not right for what they did, even to the Igbos. But diluting it with how many people it was done to, that it is a minor majority. Even if it is just one, it is something, but it's not minor. It's a lot, unreported. One individual from your region was talking about something I'd never even heard about, who was supposed to be in a vehicle on that day. There is a lot of victims like that nobody heard about, who disappear without trace, with nobody even knowing. And you talk about, somebody mentioned about the silent majority. I don't know what.
Sorry, bring it home. 1 more minute. Bring it home.
Okay, okay. Thank you. I don't know what anybody thinks in their mind. All I know is what somebody says out. If you are not saying it out, you are complicit.
Okay, let me answer you briefly, please, if you can allow me.
And to round it up for just 20 seconds, please. I want you to remember, most people does not even know that Osama bin Laden came from Saudi Arabia. Everybody believes he's in Afghanistan. Why? Because the Saudi government went after him long before the event of 9/11. The Saudi Arabia government is an hack enemy of this individual. They hated his guts. So nobody, not the American, nobody was even looking towards them. So it shows a statement of fact that look, don't look here. So when nobody is talking about, what do you want me to say if that you don't believe it, that you don't support it? Your silence means you support as long as I care. I'm really sorry. I understand. I empathize with you, and a lot of people lost, which is you owe the majority because it happened in your region.
All right, wrap for sure. Let's do it this way. Let's think right. Let her put a position. You give a brief response, and then we go to Taco, just so that every voice gets to speak.
Okay. First of all, I need to remind us again that we're talking about a terrorist organization. Now, let me tell you again what the Igbos went through. Igbos are the victims here. It's just like blaming Afghans for keeping quiet in the midst of Taliban. It's just like blaming Lebanese keeping quiet in the midst of Hezbollah. It's just like blaming Gazans keeping quiet in the under Hamas. Now, let me tell you, a lot of people, do you know how many Azis? Do you know that when you go to Delta State today, Igbos are moving massively into Delta State. If you talk, they will come and kill you. Somebody like Joe Ibokwe that used to stay in Lagos, they burnt his house. A lot of people were white. To the extent, even the press refused to report it because they will go after them. We are dealing with, because we are trying to make it look as if it is ordinary. Nnamdi Kanu is a hardcore terrorist. We should call it what it is. And there are a lot of people, my dear brother, I don't know how to put it, he buried alive. You need to go to Olu, go to Osu, go to all the places in Nnamdi Kanu ravaged. They will see the trauma. See, there is a place is full of skull. These were the people that criticized Nnamdi Kanu. And by the way, who, according to the Nigerian law and constitution, supposed to protect the citizens? Is the federal. That's the police and the army. If you are to blame anybody, I think they should share the blame. What were the police doing? Even till now, do you know that Nnamdi Kanu's IPOB, you call this man a terrorist, called his group a terrorist organization, but his group are still working, traveling up and down. Nobody is arresting them. The ungodly silence of the federal presence and them doing what they're supposed to do is emboldening them. We should hold the army, the federal government that is in charge of protection of Nigerian citizens, We should hold them responsible. Even till now, Nnamdi Kalu's IPOB members are still traveling, passing through Nigeria Murtala Mohammed Airport, Abuja Airport, traveling and coming back unchecked. They come to court. You can't see America declare Al Qaeda a terrorist organization, and you will see a Al Qaeda spokesman passing through Kennedy Airport. Who do you blame for that? You don't blame me for being a victim of a terrorist. I have my government, I have the federal, the army and the police to protect me. That is why I'm a Nigerian. The passport I'm holding is Nigerian passport. There is nothing like Igbo, Hausa or Yoruba passport. We are all Nigerians to be protected by the army and the police and all the personnel, security personnel. Why did they allow Nnamdi Kanu to go too far? Why are they even allowing it till now? That's why when you talk, the first thing they will do is to locate you. Before you know it, they will go to the village and kidnap or set your house ablaze. Are you not hearing that? Igbos are the victims of Nnamdi Kanu. They are not accomplices. Thank you.
All right, brilliant. Excellently put. Listen, think right. You remind us all of a woman called Zita that she usually comes to our YouTube streams. Maybe one day you get to meet her, and then you see what we mean. But thank you. Let's have Taco now. So Taco, we're speaking to the Nnamdi Kanu situation, the never-ending saga that is the Nnamdi Kanu narrative. So the medical team have declared him fit to be to go on trial. So they've declared that. But Showore trying to leverage his name for his own political gain. So that's where the conversation is. Let's hear from you, Taco.
Yeah, as much as I would agree with Think Right that this group are a terrorist organization, and I would also completely agree with him that their biggest victims are the Igbos themselves. Same thing as with the Boko Haram. Their biggest victims are the people of the Northeast, and in particular, the Kanuris, the main tribe that constitutes the bulk of their membership. The same thing with the Fulani bandits. Their number one targets and their number one victims have always been Fulanis themselves. And second on that list are the Hausa and the Hausa Fulanis of the Northwest. But the problem is the level of popular support that this so-called T group enjoys. And anybody that wants to deny that is just running away from facts. And it's not the federal government that helped these guys grow. No, it is Igbo leadership that grew. You have IPOP supporters, you have IPOP sympathizers. And to be honest, I've come to the realization that most Igbos, or at least over 50% of Igbos, are IPOP sympathizers. They might not agree with Kanu, but they see a lot of benefits in his continuous agitation for always calling for Igbo marginalization. They see that as a benefit and as a tool to negotiate with the federal government and the rest of Nigeria. Listen, if you don't give us this, if you don't give us this, we don't have enough of this, we don't have enough ministers, we don't have enough this. It's always that the message is always we're underrepresented, we're being mistreated in this government, and that resonates with a lot of Igbos. They don't want to face the objective reality that, look, things are hard for everybody in that country. But because it's hard, it doesn't mean that you are being marginalized. And let's be very objective. Where is the greatest poverty in that country? So if we're talking about marginalization, look at almost every statistics. Who is worse off in that country? If you have been marginalized, how come you're way better than the other people? Oh, our governors are imposed by the Fulani cabal. The Fulani cabal, what are they doing in the north? The north is doing fantastic and you guys are being marginalized. But they will never want to talk about these things. It's only when they want to show you, oh, Igbo Kwenu, Igbo pride. Look, we left with only 20 pounds and we came back. Now we're the richest tribe. Okay, you are the richest tribe. Have your money been confiscated in Nigeria? Have your businesses been, everybody has worked against them? But these are things that none of them would want to come and talk about. Why is it that when they give this no work on Mondays, why would you blame the federal government when most of your people sympathize with them, or at least a very large segment? You would need to put the whole of Nigerian army to go there and force people to come to work. Let Boko Haram try that nonsense in anywhere in the north. Forget even about the northeast. 95, maybe even 99% of northerners oppose Boko Haram, and even when they go and seize a town, it is very clear people are. It is out of fear that people don't talk, because if you talk against them, they might buy you. But when the government come in, you will see the way people are rushing into the arms of the government forces, and people look at them as liberators. Whenever Nigerian government goes in and takes any town from Boko Haram, you will see the response of the local people, how happy and how elated they are. You don't see those reactions in Igbo land. When the Nigerian army goes to Igbo land, they will tell you themselves, people are looking at them with a side eye. They're looking at them as, oh, okay, this year people don't come here to take our land. Nobody, I have not heard anyone in the north blame Igbo, blame IPOB for the problems happening in the north. How come nobody was speaking out for such a long time, when all this nonsense that, oh, it is Fulani who are buying Igbos in the southeast? How come everybody in the forest, in all the atrocities in the southeast were Fulani headsmen, Fulani kidnappers? They're the ones kidnapping us. Do you know how painful it is for other people when they are the victims, and again you are accusing them of being the ones perpetrating things? Do you know how painful that is to sit down and watch these things? It's only more now that, okay, it's getting to such a bad extent, and there are governors who are like the number one security official in the state are coming out and openly saying it like, look, listen, guys, let's be honest. This one's, it is our own people. I mean, I as much as I like to see people think right again, to keep talking, your biggest problem is the silence of the good ones, and especially the educated ones. The problem with organizations like IPOB is they feed on people's fantasies. The average unsophisticated, uneducated Igbo man fantasizes of Biafra land being a Singapore, and he sees that the Nigerian government has failed him, and that the Nigerian government has nothing to provide for him. And this is what Kanu and people like him have been feeding on, and they have spent a large part of their career doing it. They have come to the point where they have almost perfected. They know what they need to say to get their message across. They have a very vast network. They have affiliates all over. I stopped reading anything about Nigerian news on Twitter because of the number of fraudulent posting by all these IPOB online warriors. It has made it almost impossible for you to take anything about Nigeria you read on Twitter, even before it became X, because of the number of idiots there that will come. It is the same propaganda. They will keep repeating it. They will distort news. They will reply. In the end, you wouldn't even know what is right, what is wrong. And I'm being very serious. I stopped reading anything on Twitter. I just, a few accounts that I know, okay, are very reputable. I just follow those. Otherwise, I don't read anything on Twitter Spaces. The same thing if you come here on this side, even on Twitter. How many Igbos can you come and count that will come out and openly say, look, these people are harming us the most, and these people are more dangerous to us, and these people are scamming us? How many Igbos? The ones I know, I can count them by hand. I only know about 5 of them. That's it. And when these 5 speak, you will see 200 go and attack them on their platform. When you see people like Anyi Anambra, Anyi Special Talk, you will see 200 of them going there and gifting them and supporting them. Ibo Kwenu, were God special people. Nobody is like us. Listen, there's nothing wrong. And in fact, it's a good thing when you keep supporting yourself and feeling good about yourself and feeling good about your tribe. But when you do that at the expense of others, and when you are constantly interested in putting down other people, other people's history, other people's culture, then it becomes a problem. It becomes a real problem. Just like you want to feel very good about yourself, everybody wants to feel good about himself, whether he's a Kanuri, whether he's an Ishekiri, whether he's an Ijo. He wants to feel special about his people. But you go for 20 years, you are calling your Yari bastards, Fulani terrorists, the jihadist from the north, the Satan of Sokoto. How do you think the average person feels?
You will say Fulani Janjawi. You call them Janjaweed.
Exactly, Janjaweed. I mean, and these guys don't even know how much these people are hated. Like, go and ask anybody about the plundering that is done by these Fulani bandits in the north and how much people hate them. Go ask any Kanuri man, what do you think of Boko Haram? You will not find more than 5% that will tell you, okay, listen, yeah, they are good people, or will even sympathize with them. I told you, any village that the Nigerian army will go and liberate from Boko Haram, you will see the women, how much they will go and hug the Nigerian military. You will see them prepare food. They are giving them food. They are buying for them mineral. Even the Nigerian army will feel they are very welcome.
Okay,
Nobody
Tanko.
will.
Tanko,
Yes, sir.
what is the solution to our problem in terms of insecurity? What's the solution?
Well, the solution has to come from the Igbo themselves. If they are not going to solve it, honestly, let's think of dividing the country. Because they are no longer a problem only within Biafra. They are so much interested in creating tension, whether it is between Bini and Isan, whether it is between the Muslims and the Christians of Kwara, whether it's between the Yoruba and the Fulani in Kwara, whether it's between the Hausa and the Fulani in the northwest, whether it's between the people in Benue. You will see Igbo spending so much energy trying to sympathize with Hausa and Fulani. I'll ask myself, since when did Igbo sympathize with a Hausa man? You will see them here, I swear to God, at least over 500 of these guys. They will come, they will tell me Hausa are good people. It is do you know even the difference? If you see Hausa tomorrow on the street, can you tell him apart from a Fulani? Do you know the difference between Hausa and Fulani? But you will see 500 of them here online tell you there's nothing like Hausa Fulani. Hausa are good people. Fulani are the jihadists. What does that have to do with your Biafra struggle? You will see them everywhere. They see a Yoruba. Oh, why are you worried about Lagos? Go and take Kwara. Go and face the Fulani who have taken over your Kwara. Why is it your problem? If Yoruba decide to abandon all of Oyo State to Fulani, why does that affect you as a Biafran? Nobody has a problem with you if you are agitating for Biafra and you feel okay. You want self-determination for your Igbo people. But you don't need to cause so much problem. The way Nnamdi Kanu operates is he fits into this nonsense of theirs that everybody is out to get Igbo. Nobody is out to get Igbo. But as long as this mindset continues, it's causing more problem for his people. And the solution lies.
Taco, let me ask you a question. Still on that Nnamdi Kanu space. Do you think the majority of Nigerians actually want a conviction on that guy, which I think they do? And if they get that conviction and it's a capital punishment and they carry it out, what do you think the consequences would be? If Nnamdi Kanu gets a capital punishment and it gets carried out immediately, what do you think the consequences will be?
The consequences will be he will be a martyr. He will be a bigger hero within Igbo space. I mean, as much as I kind of see what Buhari's aim was during the time, but this is my own personal opinion. part of how Kanu became bigger was the doggedness with which Buhari pursued him. If they had pursued him in a more quiet way, maybe, again, it's just in my opinion, maybe he will not be this big. Sometimes these people, if you pursue them too much, because they will keep repeating the same thing. Okay, you see, they are going against me, and it will convince more people that yes, what he's saying is correct. So for me personally, just keep this guy in jail there forever. And that way, his whole network is dying. Even now, as we are talking, the amount of support, the amount of money they are getting is drying up. And this is what these guys have been building up for years, these donations. I mean, this is somebody, ask any average Igbo, where did this guy get his money? You look at him, he is living good, bro. The guy has at least 2 publicly, like
Do you know
anybody can
that he
go and
used to
check
be
the
an
record.
estate agent? Sorry, Taco, did you know he used to be an estate agent in London barely 10 years ago? This Nnamdi Kanu, just selling up and down, flat with 2 toilets and getting commission. That used to be his job in London.
Okay, if I'm in his shoes, and now I'm having, this guy owns 2 huge houses, free and clear, in London, and you want him to live there, which kind of job will give him that kind of life? He's known all over. He can talk about any politics he wants. Tomorrow, if they release him tomorrow, with one radio call, he can generate donations of $1 million. Which kind of job will give him that? He is more popular than most governors. Governors will do their 8th term and they will disappear. This one, his people are permanently attached to him. As long as he keeps spewing his nonsense in his radio, he is more important than than any of these ex-governors. Once they leave power, their power is gone. His own power is the amount of Igbos that he can sway to any direction. I mean, they would just call you, label you a sabo. Your whole danger and your whole family's life is in danger just because one of these idiots called you a sabo and labeled you a sabo. Oh boy, that is very serious power. That is some very serious power that you should not leave in the hands of a scammer. I mean, the guy is a master scammer. And these guys will give him money, and very willingly, and they are very happy making these donations. They have a long membership list. They have a list of hundreds of thousands of Igbo supporters, Igbo sympathizers, IPOB members. Every big city in Europe or the US, they have a very well organized network. So for somebody to come and say, look, the federal government should tackle, the federal government cannot solve this problem. The federal government cannot go to Zurich, cannot go to Lisbon, cannot go to Johannesburg, cannot go to London and start fighting all the Igbos there who are supporting IPOB. It's the Igbos who need to start taking accountability. Otherwise, let's really talk about a way of getting Igbos out of the country. Anyway, that's my own personal views. It might be a little bit extreme, but I'm personally tired. I've given up.
I think everybody is fed up with the noise. Think Right. Did you want to put something to Taco? I saw you on mute.
Yeah.
Think Right.
Yeah, I want to reiterate it again. You know, when Adeyinka was doing his stuff, I don't know when it comes to Igbos. We make it a general stuff. We should be fair in our judgment. When Adeyinka was talking in UK, I didn't see any reasonable Igbo man making it a Yoruba thing. He was singled out. When Boko Haram was ravaging the north, I didn't see any reasonable Igbo man or Yoruba man calling it a Hausa Fulani stuff. This is our own Boko Haram. That is what we are saying. Now, you can call us the silent majority or whatever. This is our own Boko Haram. Our state governors have called them by their names. Why can't we call them what we call them? Why are we making it, oh, he's popular, we are supporting him? I have told you time and over again, 99% of Nnamdi Kalu's victims are Igbos. Even till now, even the last speaker that's just finished speaking, he will tell you also that if you talk against them, they will still go to your village and kill you. People are walking in fear. It's not as easy as you think. Nigeria is not like America, whereby you will arm yourself and defend yourself. We don't have anything to defend ourselves. We are only left for the federal government, police, state, police and army to defend ourselves, to defend us. I have listed a lot of things. If you like, I can send you videos. We have a lot of videos. Nnamdi Kalu's victims. We have a lot. So it's not as simple as we think. And all this noise you are getting is still the same people. Nnamdi Kanu has what he called his warriors. I have already told you. They are not hiding it. They will tell you that I have 50 accounts. It's still the same people. They will log on. That's why he designed them, called them media warriors. They will attack you at every point. Now, where my problem is, what is the government doing? At least the ones visibly. If you can arrest Nnamdi Kanu, and if you can call Nnamdi Kanu and his group terrorist and terror organization, why are you jerry-picking other ones? Why are you not taking down all these other ones? How many months did it take them to announce arresting a Gentoo de Yahoo and all this nonsense, all these idiots in Imo State? Why will it take them so long? The Nnamdi Kalu's organization is not even hidden. You see them. They come to social. Okay, let me give you an example. Like this man you are calling Nani Anambra, he's always coming home. All these IPOB members are the first to pick their international passport from the Nigerian embassies across the globe. They know them. They have their handles. Sometimes we, the Igbos, used to think maybe the federal government planted this idiot to destroy the eastern part of the country. Once again, we are the victims here. We are not part of Nnamdi Kalu's nonsense. Our state governors have called them terrorists. Please call them terrorists. We are victims. We are walking in fear. We are afraid of them because terrorists have only one thing in mind: buy you and your families. And you have seen them doing that over and over. They are not killing Hausas. They are not killing Yorubas. They are not killing Efik. They are not killing Ibibios. They are acquiring Igbos.
Madam, use quiet, please. Use quiet all the life,
Thank you
please.
very much. Sorry for that. Thank you for your time once again.
Oh, all right, brilliant, excellent. My battlefield. Did you want to come into the conversation? My battlefield. Did you want to come into the conversation?
Yes, thank you once again. I think we have to appropriate blame to ourselves individually and collectively. I can remember very well when Yinka Godson was doing his own, Yorubas were complaining about him. Then the majority of people who complained about Yinka were Igbos. They actually petitioned against Yinka Godson. The Igbos who were in a safe climb in UK, in America, did they complain about Kanu? The answer is no. They didn't.
Yes. No. Yes. They did. They did in the States. They did in UK. They did in the States.
But did they do it in the UK? Because what Yinka Godson was doing was actually on a lesser value than Kanu.
Yeah. My brother, there are more to Kanu issue which you don't know. Kanu ran away to Kenya. It's not ordinarily.
I understand that. There are a bit of connivance and some nuances there. But I remember when Yinka Godson was doing his own, Igbos were complaining. They were always dissing, complaining about him. I wish even Yorubas were complaining about Yinka Godson. And that's why Ikonson was picked up and he was jailed. If the Igbos, my brother Igbos, if they are using the same zeal to complain about Kanu, Kanu won't be where he is today. He won't be here today. Those are the things we are asking the Igbos to do. I agree and I appreciate the fact that those who are supposed to complain they are not safe in Igbo land, but most of them, some of them are in Lagos, they were in the UK, in America, in everywhere, in China. Those ones, they know they are in a safe place. Why did they complain? No, they did not complain. And the Igbo intelligentsia, you see them on Arise TV. People being propped up. That about Kanu, release Kanu, release Kanu. Those ones, they are safe. They are safe in Lagos. Some of them are in America. And that's why you should right now seize the opportunity now to now join the fray. And I just want to capitalize on it. You see, Arise TV. Wait. I was expecting the Igbos to complain bitterly about Arise TV. Arise TV is one of the undoings of the Igbos. Complain about them. So we don't want to prop us up. We don't want propaganda for us. Tell us when we're wrong. Don't support us nilly-willy because you want our view. You want our viewership. Those are the things I want the Igbos to do. I know. Are you also aware that Governor of Imo State and Governor of Anambra State, they've actually pardoned a lot of IPOB members? That's why it's concerning when I see some Igbos saying, IPOB is like Boko Haram. And Boko Haram have been let off. And I asked them, I said, they were let off by their state governments. And at the same time, I'll ask them, I said, is Kanu ready to denounce his agitation? Is he ready to apologize, to repent, and do all those things? During the answers, that was the height of it. When I see Kanu inciting genocide against the Yorubas and against other people, that they should buy people, do this, which they did carry out. I expected the Igbos to have pinned Kanu down, but they didn't pin him down. It was all over the place. People were burning. I wish the Ohanaze, if they had risen up and apologize, said for the Yorubas, what happened in Lagos is an anomaly. It must never happen again. We've learned what happened during the Biafra Civil War. When Ojukwu, he said in his book that he knew that he wasn't going to win the war. Yet he pushed people to their graves. He didn't pay for it. That's why I always said the beginning of impunity in Nigeria is pardoning Ojukwu. That was the greatest error. He didn't apologize. He just walked through with a victory mentality. He contested. Whereas when Abiola did what he did, wanted to seize his mandate, the same Ojukwu was the one saying that Abiola should be deleted. They should hang Abiola. It was the same person. It was the same person championing the death of Asariwa because of what Asariwa did during the First Republic. Asariwa was the housing minister then, if I can remember. And because Asariwa said we are not going to release anybody, no abandoned property. So the Igbos, I remember that time in the newspaper, right that time. He said, they said to Asariwa that they're going to get him, and they got him during Abacha. They were the ones surrounding Abacha. I'm telling you this, surrounding Abacha. I'm not a kid. I saw the civil war from the beginning to the end. I wasn't a kid. I saw the beginning of this, and I thought we should have learned our lesson now. But the mistake the Nigerian people did, the one especially, because he was using his church mind to forgive Ojukwu. Ojukwu didn't pay for it. If Ojukwu had paid the price, Kanu would not have had these guts to do what he's doing. I saw him buying a lot of Igbo friends, my Igbo friends. I saw a guy, he said he lost 42 members of his family because of this guy. We should not make any excuses. See what happened to Igbo. When Igbo started to do something, Yorubas, they pin him down. They said, no, apologize for saying this against Buhari. How many times have I seen you Ohanaze? Ohanaze, they will keep quiet there, silence there under the blankets, and inciting and encouraging these people to say what they dare not say in the open. We shouldn't. This thing must never happen again. I I hope and I wish strongly that Kanu paid the ultimate price for his crime. So Kanu, as I am speaking to you now, Kanu is safer in prison than outside. If I were to be Kanu, I will be pleading that I should be left in prison. That guy, what he did is unpardonable. Unpardonable. So people got coming protesting. I wish, if indeed you are bold, if indeed we have Igbos intellectual, they should come out on the 28th and do a counter protest against Suwore. I said, no, you're not representing us. This is what we stand for. You stand and be counted. That's when you know brave people. There's one proverb. They said it goes like this: that the brave, right? It is the coward that always announce the death of the brave while standing on his own farmland, pointing to the burnt out house of the brave. Sometimes you have to stoop to conquer. Bravery, it can be stupid sometimes. Bravery is not something that is intelligent. Wisdom matters most than bravery. I would rather vote for someone who is disciplined than someone who is intelligent, because intelligence will not carry you far. Intelligence is not something. Anybody can be intelligent if you keep doing the same thing all the time and you learn from it. But if you don't learn, you will always go down. And that's another saying that goes like this: that apologizing for a crime is like making yourself innocent. Because people will forgive you. You see, if you want to forgive him, be on your knees and apologize. But all those grandstanding, the same people, the same Ohanaze that pressured the president, Tinubu and Buhari, that they make sure they pursue Samuel Ekpan to wherever he is, that the same people now championing that Kanu did not do wrong. How are you going to tell me now that, so many people, they didn't support Kanu? A lot of Igbos. Where I work in England here, they are all safe. They are my junior colleagues. They are all safe. None of them will ever speak anything against Kanu. I've called them separately. I've called them in a room, and they all say it. They know I will not grant on them. That means to say that those people, they are actually in support of Kanu. Kanu is fighting for Biafra. Biafra does not exist. If Kanu wants to go, they should ask for Igbo nation, not Biafra. Biafra doesn't exist. And people, I would rather be part of it. I would rather be a fish in a big pond than a fish in a small pond. And these are the things we need to work towards. Let's Igbo people come together and tender an apology on behalf of Kanu. You will see how much it's going to assuage the mind of people. People are bitter. You see Boko Haram. You see how Fulanis and Hausas, how they are actually speaking out against Boko Haram and the bandits. They speak out, even though they are threatened. But I've never seen such a gumso from Igbo people. We can come here and ventilate. We can come here and grandstand ourselves and be the grandstand on nothing. Let's be bold, let's be brave and be honest, not attacking people. I see people online here attacking people anyhow. You go on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube. I expect people who are against those people to be actually making their own comments underneath. You say, shut up, you're not representing us. And that's why we want a peaceful nation. Nigeria is a great nation. Let's commend ourselves that will come this far. No nation will ever successfully outlive 2 civil wars. It has never happened before. Now we've learned our lesson. Let's move forward. We want peace in our nation. Without security, we will never achieve anything. And this is the best opportunity for us, so that our people coming behind, they will know that we've learned our lesson. We've moved forward. Not agitating for rubbish. If you want to go, if you want Biafra, that's fine, but not Biafra. Igbo nation, people are ready to give Igbo nation, but there must be a referendum. But there's no adequate provision made in our constitution for referendum because of what Agurosi did. And Professor Nwambwese, what he stupidly did, he wrote the 1994 constitution in his bedroom, single-handedly. That's why people are conversing that we should have a new constitution. The problem in Nigeria is not the constitution. American constitution, as rubbish as it is, he created Trump. It's not. Our fault is not by our constitution. It's our mindset. The spirit of our constitution must live on, and our own people. You can use any constitution and to survive if people are willing. Whether our constitution said by our people, by the it doesn't matter. Professor Wamweze single-handedly wrote that constitution in his bedroom, and we all adopted it, we all live by it. So let's
Oh,
stop all this rubbish and stand ourselves and say we want peace in our nation. Thank you very much.
all right, brilliant. Excellently put. I like the passion. So we're seeking to start to round up now. We give the final word to Think Right. But before we get the parting words from Think Right, will people not following please follow? Please tap us to, if you can tap to maybe 15,000 just as we listen to Think Right, that would be great. So follow and tap. So just try and take us to think 15,000. So Think Right. It's really good to have you on. Hopefully when we're on again, you join us again. Give us the final words and then we'll bring it down. Think Right.
Okay, thank you once again. My dear brother, you see, this is why we need to talk. We don't need to fight. We need to talk. It's better to talk than to fight. Now, you are just saying now that the Hausa and the Fulani communities, Hausa people and Fulani people condemned Boko Haram. But I bet you when you go to the East, it's not what they are saying. You know that. They don't know that. If you go to the social media, they will tell you, oh, what is even emboldening them is that the Fulani and the Hausa community are supporting their own haram, that we, the Igbos, should support our own haram. That's why I keep saying that most of us tend to suffer from selective amnesia and selective myopia. We tend to see what we want to see, ignore the things we want to ignore. Again, for my brother that said spoke last, I told him, comparing Adeyinka and this guy, Nnamdi Kanu, these are two different. Adeyinka was never declared a terrorist. He had no group. Nnamdi Kanu has been declared, not even faced by the Igbo-speaking governors. They are the top executive in Igbo land. And I think when they say, it covers everything. It's quite unfortunate. Instead of us to be quoted by our governors, we are quoting idiots, Aduro choppers, asylum seekers. That's the one you claim that are representing us. It's unfair. Again, let me remind you also again. You said how many people condemned? Let me start with Joe Ibokwe that stays in Lagos. His house was burnt. His brothers were killed. Let me remind us that Navdak, Peter, the former, the husband of Navdak, our Navdak, what's her name again? The husband, Ike Akunuyi, was gunned down.
Dora Akuyele.
Brutally, exactly, for voicing out. The lists are endless. But we chose not to see all these people. We chose only to see all these idiots online. Do you know how many professors, how many doctors, how many prominent Igbos these people have eliminated? We chose not to see them. If you go to the East, they will tell you, oh, we are supporting Nnamdi because Hausa, the Fulani supported Boko Haram. Now you come back to you will say, oh, we are supporting Nnamdi. You are not supporting Boko Haram. Who do we see? Where are you listening from? Who is giving you the information? That is why we need to pick from the top. They have given Nnamdi Kanu a name. It's left for the federal government to prosecute him. I don't care. When you see the law, the symbol of justice is a blind lady. I don't care about the emotions. Even if you are telling me all the Igbos love Nnamdi Kanu, I don't care. Nnamdi Kanu committed litany of crimes. My governors have said it. My executive, elected representative. Why do you care what I say? It doesn't matter. Prosecute him, jail him, hang him, whatever you want to do, and teach others a lesson. That is our stand. And ignore all those noise, no matter how much they are. They are not representing the Igbo majority. Let me remind us again, whether we like it or not, when you talk of one of the true Nigerians, they are the Igbo people. Every state in Nigeria, after the indigens, the next are the Igbos. Do you think all those Igbos they are building in Meduguri, Lagos, every state, do you think they want that Biafra? Do you think they want to have their own country? Why are we following these idiots? Do you think all those Igbos having hotels in Meduguri, Kanu, Sabongeri, and Jos, and all, they really need Biafra and they are wasting their money there? These are the misfits. We shouldn't listen to them. Enough is enough. From henceforth, please, brothers and sisters, the people speaking for us are not even the Ohanese. Last time we started digging, what is even Ohanese? Who elected them? Who are they speaking for? Is there any constitution that supports Ohanese? Do we have representatives from local government or communities? Where do they have their meetings? We need to dig deeper. Please follow what our governors are saying. Forget about the noise on the social media. If Mike Zuckerberg decides to close all these things down, you will not hear them. You will listen to our governors. We remain one. We love Nigeria and we remain Nigeria. If there is anything to do, to say, or if there is any wish, we will go through our senators, House of Assembly members, and governors, and not an ordinary Bristol Baba called Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.